Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Halloween. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Great to be here with you. 103 days until pitchers and catchers report. Baseball season is over officially, and I fell asleep, so I have no idea what happened. So I'm excited to be here today. If anybody in the chat can guess my costume, I'll Venmo you $20. It's very niche, as I told you. We are all in costume, so good day to watch on the YouTube stream, so you can see all of our costumes, but we'll talk about everything. We will just talk about it, have a nice long 4-hour therapy sesh, have some fun today. It is Halloween. I love Halloween. Hated it before I had kids, but now very excited that it's back. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, a.k.a. Bald Reindl. Absolutely incredibly done, sir.
Hey, how are you?
We're good, Bald. It's good to see you.
Should I talk like this the whole show?
I can't. I can't do it, Paulie or Baldy. I'll lose my mind. If you do it, I will kill you. Much like I do when the real Bald Reindl is in here, I lose my mind. No one's getting my costume. I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Adam, I'd like to take Christmas off to spend with my family.
Okay.
Okay. Every time. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, my kids are kind of counting on me this year. Okay. To my left is one Higtua, is what we are going to call Benjamin Higgins this morning. Oh, it is fantastic. No, I'm not the Penguin. No, we got Benny, and he's got his Hawktua shirt on, and he's got let's just read what's on your gear there.
Let's see, In and Out Automotive,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got Lubrication Expert and Rock Hard Caulking. Can't read the rest of it
Why not? What does it say?
because I don't have my glasses.
Oh,
on.
I can't either. Hold on. There is no hole or crack caulk can't fill.
Our caulk
Can't fill. I'm not a Blues Brother. I'm not Mr. Pink. It's the most niche costume that I've ever done. Paulie, do you have the picture?
I do.
Let me see. Yeah, R.I.P. Bozo is what I am. Now, in the ultimate irony, if you've never seen the R.I.P. Bozo meme, it's the guy that goes to his biggest hater's funeral to make sure he's dead, which I think has always been one of my favorite memes because I do aspire to that level of petty. Now, in the ultimate irony, I am the Bozo today. Today is our funeral, essentially. You know, with the Dodgers winning the World Series, R.I.P. me today. There's a multitude of reasons why this costume sucks today. Is number one, yeah, I'm the Bozo, so yeah, sometimes you just have to wear it. Number two, I'm in a 40-pound trench coat and a tie and a button-up shirt. It's not real comfortable. It's not cozy. I should have gone as like a degenerate alcoholic in a bathrobe, which is a role I've played before, but many, many years ago. So I should have gone with like straight comfort. I didn't. I went with this one for like a 1-second joke, but now I'm in. Now, what I did think.
Good job.
Later in the show, I can take the overcoat off. I can take the sunglasses off. I can loosen the tie, and then I can just be like Patrick Bateman. But I can be like Fatrick Bateman from American. You ever see American Psycho, Benny?
I have not seen American Psycho.
How are we the same age? You really haven't seen that movie?
I have not.
It's a cult classic. But well, listen. Let's just go ahead and welcome everybody in and say congratulations. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to say congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers for the 2024 World Series championship. It must be nice to get that Mickey off your back finally.
You'll need a day or two.
My joke just goes just bam right through him. Did you hear my joke?
Get that Mickey off your back.
Yes, how good is that?
The Mickey Mouse Championship. Maybe I didn't get it.
Damn it.
What is it? What am I
to
not
get the
getting?
Mickey off your back. You get that Mickey Mouse championship off your
back. Is
back.
it not a joke? That's exactly what they did.
That's what I said.
It's not a joke.
It must be nice to get the Mickey off your back.
The players all admitted that is exactly what it was. It was really nice to get that, non-championship vindication.
Driving in this morning, workshopping my one-liner. And I said, I know he's just going to blaze right through it. I know it's just going to right through him. Is what it is. You can't let Ben and Woods fall apart today because of the Dodgers. But they did win, man. They win.
Well, I think your issue right now, and you'll be fine. But your issue right now is this is a pivot point for you, because for the last few years, that has been your biggest talking point.
Sure.
About the Dodgers, and it has been taken away from you today.
The Mickey Mouse ring allegations, you beat them. You did. Much like when the Astros won their World Series. Remember, that one didn't count in 2017 because you cheated. Well, they went out and they won another one, and it was like, all right, you can't say anything.
Definitely weren't cheating.
I don't know that this one makes that one any more real. I don't think that that's the argument, is that winning this one makes the 2021 still is not a real championship. That doesn't,
short season, yeah.
It doesn't change anything about the 2021. It just simply legitimately ends the drought that I think we all recognize since 1988, winning a true championship for the Dodgers.
I think what it does is you look at it, and you look at how they won and how they won the series and what they did, and it's hard not to look at them and go, hey, man, that was really impressive. That was really impressive. And I realized they got a couple gifts last night on a silver platter from the New York Yankees. And if you're a Yankee fan this morning, I don't know how you recover. And that's the topic I want to debate today. What's worse, that inning or 24 straight scoreless innings? What's a bigger choke, in your opinion? Think about it, mull it over. I think I know the answer, but I could probably be swayed. They're both atrocious. I mean, both absolutely atrocious. But I guess the difference is the Yankees didn't have the Dodgers on the ropes. They weren't in an elimination game and completely soiled themselves.
But I would say that in baseball, it's never unexpected not to score.
Correct.
Maybe 24 times in a row.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, obviously. But if you don't score in an inning, it's like, okay, that's what happens in a usual inning. Yeah. Committing errors like that on plays that you absolutely always make like 99.9% of the time, and then to not do it in the biggest moment that keeps your season alive is striking at the very least. That is notable, memorable. Was there one particularly memorable scoreless inning for the Padres out of the 24?
No, they all sucked.
Not really.
I look at it as you had one, maybe two bad innings last night. If you're a Yankees fan, we had 24 straight bad innings.
Right, but even if they had scored in 12 of them, they still would have had 12 scoreless innings.
Right.
It's not. You're never going to score in every
inning. If they scored in 12 of those innings,
we could have won.
We're in the NLCS.
And moved on. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But you're never surprised when a team doesn't score in an inning. You are surprised when a team commits an error like Judge did, an error like Volpe did, an absolute incredible mental blunder by both Rizzo and by Garrett Cole to not cover first base. What should have been a 0-run inning turns into a 5-run inning.
Crazy, man.
Crazy.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
That is something that will be talked about for a long time in New York.
Billy Buckner and that ball that went through his legs to clinch the World Series. That was the first World Series for the Boston Red Sox, and it went right under his legs. So that was a higher magnitude, but you took 3 of those and you put them in one inning, which is just, the Judge one is astounding. It's his only error of this entire season. The only one. Only error in the regular season, only error in the postseason. After redeeming himself with a home run, you can't script it, man. So, hey, listen, again, said it before, a hater, not an idiot. You guys played a really, really great season. Your preseason dreams, right? And you were picked to win the World Series. They came true. They finally came true. And you can't take anything away from what the Dodgers did this year. Can't take anything away from what Dave Roberts did. I still hate you, but I respect the fact that you actually went out and did it. Texted a couple Dodger friends of mine last night. Our buddy Dave. This was a wild one, man. Our buddy Dave, we've known a long time. Yesterday was the anniversary of his son passing away, and they won the World Series on that day, and his son was a huge Dodger fan. So, all rivalry aside and S-talking aside, how is that not the most bittersweet but special roller coaster? I saw a lot of people, man. I lost my dad this year. He was a huge Dodger fan. Of course, that stuff hits, man. I was telling Hannah this morning, I said, there's something about that bond that a lot of us have with our dads and in some cases our moms, whatever it may be. That's the magic of baseball. The 162 game season, the playoffs, the heartbreak, the triumph, all of it. And listen, like I said, man, I texted about 5 guys I know really well that are diehards. They know baseball. They're not there for the hats and everything else. They know baseball, and I was happy for them. But I'm certainly not happy this morning at all. It was a rough sleep. I got up at about 3 and started scrolling my phone. It was a huge mistake.
Well, we'll certainly break down even more of what happened last night and how the Dodgers ended up on top of the baseball world. But it is also Halloween, so let's try to have a good time today as well.
I have candy. Do you want candy? That might make you feel better.
Candy always makes me feel better.
I actually had an idea of doing the power hour with candy, but I'm down 12 pounds. I'm like, I don't want to put on.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nice job.
I weighed in this morning at 222.
Before or after the trench coat?
I'm 246 with the costume
the
on.
Overcoat,
Yeah,
the
with
pea coat.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now, Ben, like you wouldn't believe. So I weighed in this morning. I go, Paulie goes, you really want to do this? Because I got an app. I go, a piece of, they're minis, like a piece of candy every minute for 60 minutes.
That was your idea. And I go,
can you
every minute?
Okay.
Do the math on it. Do the math on it. So that would be 60 minis.
That would be about 9,000 calories.
No way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make it through the show.
Which would be about 3 pounds gained right there just in 1 hour.
I was like, I've got an app. It'll every
Ding,
minute it'll beep
ding.
and we'll be good to go. If you really want to do this, and you're like, I don't know if I should. I was like, I strongly recommend against
I'd
it.
actually rather do the shot of beer thing than the candy thing. Trying to eat even a mini. You have the taste in your mouth. It takes a minute to eat one of those, really. I mean, it's not like you're just chugging it or, swallowing it quickly and then have 58 seconds to cover. You're chewing it for like 20 to 30 to 40 seconds.
I'll try one.
Finally getting the taste out of your mouth, and then you're trying to go again? No one does that. I mean, unless you're Joey Chestnut.
Don't vomit, man.
You can't eat 9,000 calories in an hour.
I was like, I don't think you could even do 30 minutes.
I don't think I could do 15, bro. Now that I just tasted that
10,
Milky Way.
10 would be a challenge.
It's all rich.
Yeah.
It's so rich.
10 would be a real challenge to put 10 of those down in 10 minutes.
10 candies in 10 minutes.
Oh, that would be a real challenge. And that would be your almost entire daily allowance of calories in about 12 minutes. It would take.
And I don't want that. I've been working hard.
You don't want that.
Cleaning up,
It's not a good plan.
All right, well.
I'm sorry I didn't get your costume. I'm sorry I didn't
Nobody
get your
did.
one-liner.
It's fine. Oh, you missed my one-liner? Damn it.
All of it.
R.I.P. Bozo. That's me.
We are going to be here until 10 o'clock. We're going to try to make it spooky, as we always do on Halloween. We'll come back and we will set the menu.
Pipe down over there, bald Reindl.
Do have a couple of good guests who will be joining us to help wrap up the baseball season in the World Series.
Oh, it's hot.
Eat another candy.
I can't, dude. There's no way.
There's no way.
The power minute here on Ben and Woods.
No way that could be done by a normal human being. And we will be back after Kelly Danick's Traffic. Happy Halloween, everybody, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun.
Woodsy's morning worse. I know. Bald Reindl says, let's play the Monster Mash.
He did the mash.
He did the monster.
He did the monster mash.
You imagine that dude passing out Halloween candy tonight?
What are you supposed to be?
I don't buy it.
Welcome back.
That's not very scary. He's just criticizing
Please,
kids.
can you just take one, please? He wakes up, he's like, the hell did I do?
So Halloween, obviously, is a chance for people at the office to have get-togethers, little parties, celebrations. I had there were potlucks at each of my employers the last 2 days.
Did
They had
you
one here,
did you attend either?
and they had one. No, I did not attend either. And here's my issue, and I want to know what you guys think, and I want to know what the tier ones think. And maybe this is just me. I know I've got my issues when it comes to sharing stuff.
Right.
The potluck at work, I just don't trust where this food is coming from, who's prepared it, what ingredients they've used. And I can't bring myself to really Unless it's like something that's clearly like come from a store and it's like unopened, I'm like, all right, I'll try that. But when someone brings something in homemade, and I love a great homemade meal, I really do. But if I don't know who's making it, like, and it's not sitting there and I don't know what the ingredients are, I have a real hard time with it.
It's not uncommon, I don't think. And I'm like, if I invited you over to our Thanksgiving, would you have a problem?
No.
With anything that was, now it's essentially, it's like a potluck though. I mean,
I get it. I
some
do.
people bring stuff. Is it, you need to be.
Still pick and choose. Like if you're like,
Yeah.
I don't like sweet potatoes, I'm not going to eat the sweet potatoes.
Well, yeah, of course.
And the same thing happens at a work potluck. But somehow when you bring it into that little work kitchen
In the
and it's
crock
all
pot.
there, it's in the crock pot, it's been sitting in the work fridge all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take off the foil or the plastic wrap and here's the casserole, here's my chili. And you have no idea what's kind of in it or who. I mean, it's not like they're standing there, telling you, "Oh yeah, I made this and this is mine." Sometimes they do, but
Sometimes it's just sitting there.
Oftentimes it's just sitting there, and you don't know how long it's been sitting there, who made it. And I have an issue with that, and it makes it almost impossible for me to enjoy work potluck type functions.
Yeah, because what if someone at your work is insane? You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, well, I hate.
Well, the odds are clearly that at least one or two of those people have no idea what they're doing in the kitchen.
Correct.
Like health-wise, safety-wise, don't know like what ingredients they were supposed to buy for something.
Do those people actually make something, or do they just go to the store and buy
I don't
something?
know. That's the thing. I don't know. There's no list. There's no manifest or provenance of what.
You look to the list, you're like, all right, Jim, the cameraman, brought chili. I'm going to pass.
I've known him for a while.
Yeah.
I trust him. He's made good things
All
in the past. This is okay.
Kim brought that weird broccoli cheese. I don't know her very well.
I don't think I trust that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of with you, dude. I kind of am with you. There's something creepy about a work potluck, but
it
I'll
makes
go to a
me
family,
also feel
a family potluck.
Like again, antisocial Ben who doesn't want to participate in his work functions and is bringing down the the teamwork, the group effort. Everyone else is into it, and somehow I'm just the one who's not.
I'm weird about certain foods. Like I only recently, I'd say last year, started eating tuna. That somewhat tuna, like not ahi tuna, but like tuna salad on a sandwich. If I go, and really the only place I think I've ever eaten it outside of my home that I made with my bare hands was Jersey Mike's. I think it's the only place. And even then, sometimes I'm like, how long has it been there? It's watery at the top. I see the water. I see you ice cream scooping it out, and I'm going to retch, and I'm going to vomit. I'm going to vomit right now. But I need to get this protein in me, and it's probably my best option here.
Like if someone brought in a tuna noodle casserole to work,
it's over, dude.
Just end it.
It's
end
over.
it all.
It's over. Yeah, that's it. No, I don't blame you, man. If it's like sliced barbecue, I'll probably have the meat. I think is usually pretty good. But you're right. The casseroles or crock pots. Like somebody here recently came up to me and offered me a taste of something from the potluck on Tuesday, and I was like, "Oh, nope. Glad I'm not staying for that." I have a bone to pick also with Bald Reindl because we had a potluck here on Tuesday, right? So follow me if you can quickly. Get an email. Hey, we've got a town hall meeting on Tuesday. Please dress in costume for this town hall meeting.
It will be followed by a Halloween
Potluck. Okay, that was Tuesday. Today is Thursday. Actual Halloween, where we knew we were going to be dressing up. We put in some time and effort to our costumes. I'm not dressing up twice, number one. So I text our boss and I say, hey, this town hall, is there anything important? No, it's mostly about
open enrollment.
Open enrollment.
Yeah.
So I've had the same insurance for a decade. I just click repeat, right? Turns out it's this huge meeting that we all three missed it because I'm like, well, I know my open enrollment and I don't want to dress up twice and I don't really want to eat potluck. So now I feel like a not good team player. So I owe them one.
I just feel like I dodged the potluck.
Yeah, I guess.
Where were you on Tuesday?
And we told Adam, we're like, hey, man, just so you know, like, we're good with open enrollment. And he's like, I'm just letting you know it's happening. I'm like, okay. All right, well, I'm also letting you know I won't be there. Wait till he finds out, Ben, that I can't go to the Odyssey Christmas party this year.
What?
I can't go.
You can't go. You have a Seals game?
I have a Seals game.
Man.
I have a Seals game, and I will not be able to attend.
We'll wait up for you.
You don't have to.
Yeah, keep it late. We'll see you after the Seals game. You can come join us at the end.
I'll be close.
You will?
Yeah, I'll be close.
I know.
Maybe I'll stop by if there's still people there raging or something.
Do you have like a lunch hour? You can just swing by.
A lunch hour just by myself. So let you guys know I made it. Yeah, leave at halftime. So sorry about that. I feel like a man on an island right now, but I do apologize.
Okay.
Okay. So good.
All right, coming up on the program today, obviously we'll have more Game 5 World Series talk. A World Series that really turned all of our expectations completely on its head of what we thought, at least how it was going to play out.
Oh, yeah.
Did not, none of it really came to fruition in this World Series that was supposed to be a battle of heavyweights. Didn't really look like that for much of the series.
No, it didn't.
Other than Freddie Freeman, who came to play every single game, there was a lot of weird play in this World Series. We will talk about it coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. Play a little Real or Fake, chance to win some tickets for San Diego State basketball on a Throwback Thursday.
How'd they do last night?
They won.
By?
41.
God, I owe you $10. This is the worst morning of my life. Here's your 10.
But I'll have a little bit for that of you in the 8 o'clock hour on what happened at San Diego State Viejas Arena last night. A couple guests at 7:35. We will be joined by our friend Craig Calcaterra.
Love Cal.
His Cup of Coffee baseball newsletter is a must-read for baseball fans. And
we have not talked to him in forever.
it's been a while, but he's going to help us wrap up this season in the World Series. And, of course, it is a Smart Baseball Thursday. We'll get the smart analysis of the Dodgers World Series championship and how it went wrong for the Yankees with Eno Sarris coming up at 8:35. I'll Reindl Report, NFL Threesome, and more all the way until 10 o'clock when we turn things over to Annie and Elston. But we'll be right back with some World Series talk from last night's incredible comeback. I mean, incredible like in the I don't believe it sense.
Correct.
Of incredible, like incredulity. Like, I can't believe what I saw in that inning.
Incredulous comeback.
Exactly.
It's not
Incredulous.
shocking a lineup like that can score 7 runs in
No,
a game.
no.
It's shocking
How
how
they
they score.
How
Crazy.
it happened.
Crazy.
All coming up next year with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
do, yeah.
I feel like we're as knowledgeable
As we can be.
as any. Yeah,
Settle down.
as
I mean,
any.
we're fine.
No, it's just. I mean, as any like morning radio show about baseball, probably in the country. Wouldn't you agree?
Whoa. It's a bold proclamation.
Well, okay. Look at our competition. I mean, do you think we're more knowledgeable than the other shows in our building about baseball?
Yes.
All right. Do you think we're knowledgeable about the other shows in San Diego?
Yes, I just
about
like to
baseball.
I like to be humble. I don't know. What are you came in this morning in full Dodger fan on you. I'm just trying to be humble.
I'm
here.
about to get humble. So even as much as
My wife says no one makes love like I do, and I mean no one.
as much as
Lord.
we talk about baseball and think about it and watch it and read about it,
Eat it, breathe it, sleep it. Yeah.
don't really feel like we got much right about this World Series.
You did.
And I got the winner and the number
Yeah.
of games right. And I
picked it.
still don't feel all that like that's not how I expected it to play out. Though.
Well, I got to ask you this because you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. Did you ever this isn't a new phenomenon of baseball. Like maybe in the 90s and basically during the Yankees run, remember you could be like, yeah, they're going to be in the postseason. They're probably going to win the World Series. And you're a pundit and you get on the air and you say, yeah, no problem. I've had, along with every other pundit for the last decade, the Dodgers winning the World Series every single year. Like, always the favorites. Wow, it's wild that they haven't broken through yet. 2020 notwithstanding. The last few years, though, have been the ones that have really, it's changed. And I don't know, the game has stayed the same. It's still the same game. You still have to get 27 outs. You still have to get good players. They have to execute, right? There's been some rules and some additions and subtractions, but it doesn't really change the way the game is played and won. Lately, with every year that goes by, it's harder and harder to project what you think a team's going to do, almost to where when I lay in bed and think about it, it makes my head spin because I had the Padres winning 81 games this year. So did mostly everybody else. The fact that they went as far as they did surprised me. I had the Dodgers winning the World Series at the beginning of the year, but when the playoffs started, I go, they don't have the pitching. They don't have the pitching. They're not going to get it done. I think even the majority of Dodger fans would agree with that. The way that they were able to knuckle down and do it, though, is insane.
And then they get to the World Series, and I certainly thought they had a really good chance to win it, but I expected Shohei Ohtani to be a major factor in the reason that they won the series. They didn't win because of Shohei. They won in spite of Shohei. He was a non-factor.
100%.
In fact, you could probably make the argument that the Dodgers would have been better off without Shohei Ohtani completely in this series.
Yeah, at least the last few games, with the shoulder or whatever it was. Again, I mean, he took some violent swings. He just didn't hit the ball. I mean, he took some violent swings. And, yeah, man, I think if you had to sit down, and now I usually don't like to pick chalk right before the Yankees. Okay, guys, we're all sitting in here and we're at a bar and we're shooting the breeze. Oh, Yanks Dodgers. That should be a good series, right? I mean, two good teams and high payrolls. They got great players, star players. Yankees definitely have the advantage with starting pitching. Dodgers have the advantage with bullpen. Shohei is a superstar. Judge is a superstar. These guys are going to go off. Both those guys were. I mean, Aaron Judge essentially cost them the game last night. Let's be honest with ourselves. He cost them the game. That drop fly ball was far outweighed that two-run homer.
After it looked like he had won them the game.
Which is, he made a great catch in center field. But, again, Aaron Judge, that is such a... Like, if this was 1918, the commissioner is looking at that inning and going, hey, I'm hearing whispers that you guys may be on the take. We all saw 8 men out. It looked like that. It looked like that. That's how it looked. It looked like Eddie Seacott not running to first. It looked like the guy in center field dropping a Happy Felsch, dropping a fly ball that hit him in the glove. The shortstop, I'm going to spike this one into the ground. Why? Because I'm on the take. That if there were whispers of gambling, that inning you can hold up and go, oh yeah, these guys were on the take.
So that
was so gnarly.
That brings us to the head scratcher that was last night, and we'll go through that inning. And I want to get your your thoughts on them. Well, you just gave us some of them, obviously, but really kind of break it down here right after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Well, hopefully anybody driving into work with a Halloween costume on has got one that's not going to obstruct their view at all. We've already got several accidents here, guys. One of them is on southbound 5 before the 52. This vehicle hit the guardrail in center divide. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows this two-car collision blocking the fast lane on North 125 before the King Freeway. Now we're getting reports of a stalled vehicle partially blocking the Poway Road on-ramp to northbound 15. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
To me, what was so stunning about last night's clincher is that I think it's undoubtedly was the Yankees' best offensive performance of the series. And in many ways, it was the Dodgers' worst offensive performance of the series. They were gifted 5 of their 7 runs. The other 2 came in on sacrifice flies. They did not get the big Freddie Freeman home runs. They did not do
the big two out.
They did get they got a big 2-out single from Freddie Freeman and a big 2-out double by Teoscar Hernandez, and those guys came through in the clutch, which the Yankees never did. By the way,
never.
They left the bases loaded twice. Again, that was another overriding theme of the series. Not hitting with runners in scoring position for the New York Yankees, something that ultimately sealed their fate. But, after the first inning, when Judge and Chisholm go back-to-back, and then Garrett Cole looks dominant, and then they add on a couple of more, and Stanton goes deep again, and it's 5-0. Even Dave Roberts, as much as after the game he said, hey, we never stopped believing. When they interviewed him in the dugout, he fully acknowledged, I'm kind of managing for Game 6. I mean,
he caught himself.
Always hope we're going to come back and
he
do something here, but I'm kind of managing now for Game 6. He said that on live television during the game. So the Dodgers really did feel like that game was probably over until the Yankees, of course, let them back in it with one of the worst playoff innings you are ever going to see in the history of baseball. They had a runner on first. The ball that
How
goes
did he
out
get on
to
first.
I think that was a walk. I think to start the inning.
Who was it?
Go back to my play-by-play of that inning, but the fly ball to Judge is really pretty inexplicable. It is nothing really weird, other than it was kind of hit straight to him.
I mean, he was right on it.
Which sometimes can be
no.
Single by Kike.
Okay. Single by Kike.
Edmonds safe on the air.
That was Judge. That was
Judge.
the fly ball to Judge.
Will Smith grounds into a fielder's choice.
That's the Volpe error
by
at,
Volpe.
at third.
By the way,
strikeout.
Which
Lux and Ohtani.
of the 3 mistakes,
that was the least.
That was the least mistakey of the 3.
Yeah, it was a bad throw.
It was a bad throw, but he had to get it there quickly with where the ball was hit, and Chisholm's not a natural third or first baseman, so that pick is it's a doable play. I think Manny makes that play.
I think maybe and with the Judge thing, I think Kike was. I think Aaron Judge was trying to get 2 before he could get 1. It's the old I'm going to catch this and back pick him at first base because he's off the bag because it was hit pretty hard. Maybe I can pick him up. You got to catch the ball first, man. You got to collect outs, and you got to catch balls that are hit right in your glove.
So keep focusing on Judge, but the third error that you're about to get to, I thought that was
the bases are loaded with nobody out. Now, don't forget, Garrett Cole comes back, strikes out Gavin Lux, and strikes out Shohei Ohtani.
Nasty.
And, absolutely has almost worked his way out of this jam. He's still got to get through Mookie Betts. What does he get Mookie Betts to do? An absolute weak squibber to first. Garrett Cole is the star of this game yesterday. Garrett Cole should be the winner of Game 5, the guy who, really pitched well in Game 1 for the Yankees. He had a phenomenal World Series, and it's not going to be remembered that way because of what happened on that play.
How do you do this, man?
It's hard to really fathom exactly what went on. I mean, I saw it, and the ball was hit close enough to the line that 9 times out of 10, that's a pretty easy play that the first baseman just picks up and touches first. So I kind of understood that's probably what's going through Garrett Cole's head. That ball is very close to the line. It's hit softly. That's a play that Rizzo's going to take a couple of steps in, and then he's going to walk and touch first. It looked like there was plenty of room for him to get there before Mookie Betts. But Rizzo did not help the cause. He let the ball kind of play him by taking a step back or two instead of going up on it, which put him in a bad spot to turn around. He was not looking to see if Garrett Cole was – I think he could have recovered if he had known Garrett Cole wasn't there and sprinted and just beaten Mookie Betts to first base, but he assumed that Garrett was there.
You know why he assumed it? Because the pitcher's been there for Garrett Cole, or the pitcher's been there for Anthony Rizzo since he was 7 years old. That's why he assumed the pitcher would be there. Because since Anthony Rizzo was 7 years old, he makes that play and he flips it to the pitcher covering.
It's
period.
the first thing pitchers
It's
work
the
on at spring
first
training
day.
every single year.
And it's not like Garrett Cole hasn't been there a million
100
times.
Benny, I'm telling
why
you,
would you not go there on that one play is a question that I'm sure Garrett Cole will be asking himself for a very long time.
It's so mind-bending.
Because I don't think he forgot his fundamentals. Something happened as he
I'll tell you what happened.
as he started running over there,
tell you.
and he just made a really bad decision.
Bro, that inning is as much on Aaron Boone as it is on Aaron Judge, or as it is on Anthony Volpe, or as it is on Anthony Rizzo. A lot of Anthonys here. How do you let your pitcher go out there and throw 40 pitches and not come out and slow that game down? I get it. They talked about it. There's a pitch clock. You can't reset, slow the inning. Yeah, you can. You do a mound visit with Matt Blake or with Aaron Boone, and hey, relax, guys. 2 errors in a row. Let's get this last one. Bear down. Let's go get it. Take a breather. Nothing. Aaron Boone soiled himself
let him
over and over and
hung him out to
over.
dry.
Just dying. So, and again, it's no excuse for him not being there. None. But he's gassed as hell, and he thinks, I just got the squibber that I need. I'm not going to finish it. You want to talk about lessons. Coaches out there, there's 2 lessons to be learned there. Number 1, have everyone on your team scream over. Every single time there's a ball hit to the right side. Over! Right? Get over! Every time. Number 2, show them Mookie Betts. Show your kids Mookie Betts in that scenario. Do you know how easy it would have been for Mookie to Cadillac that ball? I just grounded out with the bases friggin' loaded. God dang it, dude. Barely runs.
Well,
he was tearing ass down the line.
And that's part of what being a great player is overcoming the instinct. Mookie overcame his instinct to, shrug his shoulders and go, I didn't come through.
Right.
And Garrett Cole, the instinct there is sigh of relief. I got out of this jam. This jam that could have cost us the game, and he had that momentary, I got out of it.
I'm out of it.
And it was what cost him, and what ultimately cost the Yankees the game and a chance to come back in the series. Now, credit to the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman and then Teoscar Hernandez had to come through after that, and they did, and they tied the game. But the game wasn't over at that point. It was still a tie ball game. The Yankees even took the lead, of course, in the 6th inning on the Giancarlo Stanton sacrifice fly, and you thought, maybe the Yankees bullpen can get through it. And you have to once again question Aaron Boone in the 8th inning. Went to Tommy Kahnle. Once he did, couldn't do anything about it. Didn't get a single out in his minimum 3 batters.
How do you, if you're going to use Weaver there for Kahnle to replace him, just start the inning with Weaver.
Easy after the fact to say,
But if that's your plan, if my plan is to go...
He ended up pitching 2 innings anyway.
Correct. If he's got 2 innings in him. Luke, do you have 2 innings in you tonight? I do. All right, we got a 1-run lead in the 8th. It's all yours. There is no tomorrow if we don't win. What in the world? Kennesaw Mountain Landis is suspending this team. If he's still the commissioner, Kennesaw Mountain Landis is banning this team from baseball.
And I wonder if they start Weaver that inning and he does keep it
6-5.
A 1-run, 6-5 Yankees lead. Does Dave Roberts leave Blake Trinan in a deficit, or does he pull him out at that point going, you know what, let's live to fight another day. We're behind. I'm not going to throw. He's never thrown this much before. Once he had the lead, though, I thought it was a pretty easy call for for Dave to stick with Blake Trinan. All right, we've got the lead. I've got nothing left other than Walker Buehler maybe in my bullpen. We're going to let Blake try another inning. He got through it, in the 8th, and then in the 9th, they went with Walker Buehler, which turned out to be the right call.
Great call.
He gets the 1-2-3 inning.
Every coach in America at any level watched the New York Yankees this series and just has a list and a page fulls of notes. And it goes back to game 1. It goes back to Glaber Cadillac in a ball. It goes back to Soto turning doubles into triples. It goes to Verdugo turning doubles into triples. It goes, Benny, to, you saw Juan Soto last night with a lead that a guy with a broken leg would have a bigger lead than Juan Soto off first base. Like, they did all of the small things wrong. Almost every one of them. A ground ball to Glaber with a gimpy Freddie Freeman running down the back. Hard. He's running hard. He's slow anyway, and he's got a bum ankle. And you lollipop the flip to Anthony Volpe for a double play. Every coach in America is sickened by the New York Yankees and their pathetic display of awful baseball in the biggest games of the year.
Both teams, huge high payroll teams, but the Dodgers did the little things better.
And that's such a good thing to build on.
And
right?
it's why the Padres were the second best team, because they also had stars. But the Padres are a very fundamentally sound team.
Better than the Yankees.
As well. Way better than the Yankees, for sure.
That's not saying much. The tier 1s are more fundamentally sound than the Yankees.
So here we are, Dodgers celebrating their World Series title. We'll come back. It's a throwback Halloween Thursday. We'll revisit Halloweens of the past and play a little real or fake when we return here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, our boy Paulie, a.k.a. Bald Reindl, is he's suffering for his art this morning.
If you're just joining us, so it's Halloween. Paulie's dressed in a Georgia polo, red Georgia polo, and a bald cap.
The jeans sent me.
You can't see the jeans on the YouTube feed, but yeah, slightly.
Bro, I haven't worn jeans in, I don't think, since before the pandemic.
Well,
He's dressed as our boss, Adam.
yeah, Kluger, our boss, when it's like a big meeting day here, he will wear his, like Michael Scott in the office, he'll wear his fancy jeans. His fun jeans.
Hang on. Now I'm really committing to the bit.
Oh, now
because
I
sunk
can't
my chair down about
I can't see you
6 inches.
because that when he fills in, that's all I can see. I look over and I'm so used to seeing Paulie, he's a Hulk, and I look over and all I see is the top of Adam's head, and so now I'm getting the full experience. Benny is dressed as Hig Tua, and he's got a shirt on that says In and Out Automotive. You are a lubrication expert. And then your T-shirt says Hawk Tua, spit on that thing. And then your hat is rock hard caulking,
which is very fitting when we talked about caulking
last week. And I'm dressed as the R.I.P. Bozo meme.
But you look kind of like a blues brother.
I don't want to be a blues brother.
You got a lot of Men in Black.
I got some of that. I would like to be Patrick Bateman, also from American Psycho. But yeah, that's the costume. I have an overcoat. It's 75 pounds. I can't wear it. It's hotter than fish grease. I cannot wear it for the direct. I'm not suffering from
Is
my
that
art.
a coat that you already had in your closet? No, you had to.
And this shirt and this tie. I spent way too much money for a 1-second picture that's going to go up later side by side.
I mean, I would say, well, you have a nice winter coat now to wear, but
it's 60 degrees here in the winter.
It's tough in San Diego to ever really need a winter coat.
Had the
If you go to like Denver or Utah or something this winter, you'll be in great shape.
Let's see. I'm going to Vegas in March. I'm going to Hawaii in August.
Philly in July.
I
don't know. Maybe Manchester, England in July is still somewhat chilly. I have no idea. But...
Nor do I. I think it's supposed to be nice. I actually had the convo. I'm going to Texas for Christmas, and it could be chilly there. But I told my wife, I go, well, I'll just wear it, and then I'll put it in the overhead on the plane. And she said, you're an idiot. I said, well, I can't pack it because it literally would. They'd be like, this bag is 150 pounds. It's so heavy and thick that I can't wear it. I'm not suffering for my art.
One of the best things about Halloween is that it finally ends Halloween month of October.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk about scary good deals or
the spooktacular celebrations
anymore. We can move on after today into a different month and a different holiday season. And on our Throwback Thursday, and this was last year, right, Paulie?
Yeah, this was a couple days before Halloween, probably.
So
last
we
year.
have an ad executive here, M. Peter, who has given us some questionable copy instructions in the past when he says, "Hey, okay, here's what you're supposed to talk about, but make it your own."
It's questionable, but it's predictable.
It's predictable.
He loves a theme. My man loves a holiday theme.
Yeah, make it your own. But in the month of October, it's always make it spooky.
Yeah, make it spooky.
Which is not really easy to do
Next
when you're
month
talking
it'll be,
about.
add some turkey noises, maybe.
Hey, come on down to Sedano 4.
Hey, make it jolly.
Make it jolly. Yeah, and listen, I don't know. I've been doing advertising. I've sold advertising. I don't know how many more cars I could help you move by making a spooky commercial. You want to make your commercials memorable. I get that. I do. But
I think the best way to sell things is to have a genuine appreciation for the product you're talking about and give your honest opinion about it. Why you like that certain, goods or service that you are selling. And I think for the most part, we're good at that.
I think so too.
You genuinely talking about Eco Water, 7 Mile Casino, Prize Picks, whatever it is. And, genuinely when it comes to Sedano Ford, you love Fords. You are an absolute giant Ford family.
Ford family. We have been our whole life.
So it's an easy sell for you. But making it spooky is not necessarily the most fun part of the job. So you guys decided to take it to the nth degree. What does it really sound like?
This was last year,
to make a spooky Sedano Ford commercial.
Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
Hello, my pretties. It's Woodsy here. Don't miss the Halloween spectacular from my friends at Sedano Ford this Saturday, October 28th, from noon to 2.
Sedano Ford.
I'll be there with the 97.3 The Fan Street Team.
Behind you.
Along with many other local radio and TV stations, giving out prizes, concert and amusement park tickets,
I am right behind you.
and of course, tons and tons of candy. Bring the family. Don't miss the spooktacular celebration at Sedano Ford in La Mesa from noon to 2.
Sedano Ford.
This Saturday, October 28th. I'll see you there.
If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you.
Go check them out online as well, SedanoFord.com, SEDANO Ford.com. Let them know Woodsy, 97.3 The Fan sent you.
If you don't come play with us, we will kill you. There's nothing better than that line.
If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you.
It's unbelievable.
It's direct and to the point.
Where did you find that? What's that from?
Usually horror is about creating that scariness in your mind. They just get right down to it. Brass tacks here.
Come down here, buy a car. I will kill you if you don't. Now that is how you sell a car.
Yeah.
You buy this car or I will kill you. I'm sold. I'm in. I'll take the new Bronco. I love it. It's so good.
A little coercion involved there.
I've been
but
wanting one anyway, so I figure this is a really good time to do it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was one of our favorite Halloween moments.
You wanted spooky.
You got it.
You got spooky.
It was so elite. Now, the funny part is they loved it. They thought it was great. And that's the thing. When you run the risk, when you do it, you know next year they're going to go, hey, do what you did last year.
I think I made it extremely clear. This is never happening again.
This is a one-off.
That took me hours to put together.
It was so much work.
What, you don't have something better to do, Paulie?
Right.
You can't spend hours on every Sedano spot every single time?
It was worth it. Just like to start the segment, you said I was going through it. This bald cap is tight.
That's what I was wondering. Is it tight?
I have taken some ibuprofen already before the show started.
Take it off. It's fine.
I
Who
can't.
cares?
I'm committed.
You can.
I have a bald cap
Here.
underneath.
We have an extra Hawk 2 hat.
Maybe I'll just wear this.
Wear this. Well, just that. Now you could be Nicolas Cage in Raising Arizona.
Now you look like like a lunch lady.
Yeah,
with the hairnet.
Lunch lady.
Yeah, right.
We need a contestant. I got a Halloween-themed edition of Real or Fake for you.
Nice.
Call in now. You don't need any musical knowledge for a chance to win tickets to the San Diego State basketball opener next Wednesday. Phone lines are open right now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to play our game, have that opportunity. We'll talk a little Aztecs basketball a little bit later on as well. They did win last night, a non-televised game, exhibition game against Cal State San Marcos,
God, you set the
80-39.
I
set the line at 27.5.
I said that's a lot of points. They're figuring stuff out.
They looked good, actually. I had the highlights. I went through and watched a little bit of it last night before I went home. And again, I don't know that you can ever say a win over a Division II team in an exhibition game is impressive. You did what you're supposed to do, but both sides of the ball, they look pretty sharp for October 30th.
I mean, in college football, you get excited about your spring game, right? Your A team against your B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's something. Hey, they look sharp. They look good. They're moving the ball well. They're gelling. It obviously you're gonna have to see what it is against
A real opponent, D1 opponents. Yeah,
it's a real opponent. Trying to be nice here.
Fair enough.
Yes. They're an opponent.
A opponent at their same classification level.
Correct. When do you guys play a real team?
Well, they won't have to wait long. They got Gonzaga and Creighton coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Maroon, here we go.
So they will be tested very early this season. All right, phone lines are full. Let's get to it. It is time to play Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. If you can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
All right, again, we got the Aztecs basketball season opener tickets up for grab. It's November 7th at Viejas Arena. One winner from this week in all of our games of Take on Woods and Real or Fake will win. I think we only have one qualifier, so you can have maybe a 50-50 chance. We're going to go with Dustin today as our contestant. Good morning, Dustin. How are you?
Good. Just driving to work. How you guys doing?
All right, good. All right, let's see if we can get you a chance to win some Aztecs tickets. You need 4 out of 7 right in Real or Fake. Feel free to use Woodsy to help you. Today on Real or Fake, we're testing your knowledge of the most popular candy on the market.
Oh, you've come to the right place.
Two great tastes that taste great together, chocolate and peanut butter. Of course, I'm talking about Reese's. But the Reese's Company, now a subsidiary of Hershey's, makes much more than just the original Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Today on Real or Fake, I will give you a name. You tell me if it's a real product from the Reese's Company or a fake I have made up for today's game. Got it, Dustin?
Got it.
All right, here we go. Round number 1. Real or fake? Reese's dipped pretzels. Real or fake, Dustin?
Real.
Oh, yeah.
Real. That is 1.
Delicious.
Easy. All right, let's go to round number 2.
Sound incredible.
They're amazing.
Reese's popcorn. Real or fake, Dustin?
I'm going to need some help with this one.
It's real, bro. It's real.
Wood says real. What do you say?
I'll go with it.
Woods, you know your candy. I'm impressed. All right, that's 2 for 2. We
You're
are
talking to.
rolling. All right, let's try Reese's Big Cup with potato chips. Real or fake, Dustin?
Oh, that's real.
That's real.
Oh, you guys are good. All right, that's 3 in a row. Can we make it a clean sweep here?
Huh? Yeah.
Round number 4. Reese's plant-based peanut butter cups. Real or fake, Dustin?
Oh, man. Do I got more help?
Yeah, you got more help. It's fake.
Dustin
Yep,
for the
go with
win.
it.
He goes with it. Fake.
Sweet. No!
No, it's real.
BS.
You can get your
BS.
plant-based peanut butter cups if you'd like. All right, that's all right.
Gross.
It's 1 miss. No need to worry
All
about
right,
it.
all right.
It's like the Yankees got the 1 win.
Yeah, it's a
Still go for
gentleman-
the gentleman's sweep here.
sweep.
All right, here we go. Reese's almond butter cups. Real or fake, Dustin?
I'm going to go with real.
I'm going to say fake.
It's real. Oh, no, it's fake.
Damn.
I was right.
Woods was right. Dustin's wrong. All right,
All right,
now
here we go.
we're
Now we're getting
on
nervous.
to game 6 now.
Garrett Cole just shut us down here. We got to get it together.
All right, here we go. Reese's outrageous candy bar.
Oh, yeah.
Real or
Oh,
fake?
that's real.
That's real, and it's delicious. Oh, wait, no. Okay.
They actually have both a nutrageous
Nutrageous
and
and
an
outrageous.
outrageous.
Scared me.
What is the weirder combination? I don't. What's the difference between nutrageous and outrageous?
I don't know.
I like
Reese's
the
Mars.
I like the nutrageous ones. They're delicious.
And then for our allergy-conscious fans, peanut-free Reese's peanut butter cups.
Fake.
Fake.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do.
It'd be very tough.
Very
to do.
tough to do.
Dustin, congratulations. You
I think
have
that's just
won
called
today's
chalk.
game. We'll put you into the drawing for the Aztecs tickets. Stay on the line. Paulie will get your information during our break, but good luck to you. You're at the 50-50 chance right now to win the Aztecs tickets tomorrow.
Okay.
Woods, you ready for some Halloween Don't Do This coming up next?
Sure.
You are?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good.
I've got I got an update to. I like to do the updates because there was a really sweet update that we can do and do this.
Oh, yeah. I like that one,
I like
too.
it a lot.
All right, we will get to that when we come back with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Our longest running segment on Ben and Woods. Don't do this. A couple of stories from the world of sports that make you shake your head. And I will let Woods start with what, the traditional post-championship don't do this story.
Oh, man, it's never a good thing. Guys, it's just a game. I want to win a World Series in San Diego so bad, but I hope there's no scenes that are going on or went on last night late in downtown Los Angeles, Benny. They had there's fires. They set a Metro bus on fire. The looting of a Nike store, clashes with police. To see this bus on fire is just insane. It is insanity going on right now. And they have announced their World Series parade is tomorrow at 11 a.m. What do you guys think about that time, by the way? That the right time? Normal time?
Yeah.
Very normal.
Friday, 11?
Yep. That is usually when they're done.
It's actually, couldn't be a better Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
You don't want to do it during rush hour.
Yeah, do it at 5.
So, yeah.
It's not like they won the championship on a Friday night and we're like, hey, it's going to be a
2 weeks from
Tuesday.
now. Yeah.
It's become almost unavoidable that there's going to be some bad behavior in celebrations after the fact, some sort of looting, rioting, property destruction.
That sucks, kind of.
And I don't know if there is a way to avoid it. I do have a suggestion, an idea. You know how they have those rage rooms now where you can go and pay a fee and smash a television with a bat, and they get old junk, and you just. Is it possible for a city to create, like right at the end of a championship, you have like an empty lot somewhere downtown, you have like old buses and stuff, and you go like, go ahead, smash the windows, light things on fire, just to keep it within this, chain link fence.
The parking lot of SoFi Stadium area. Or something.
Yeah, we're going to have a rage room for all of you people who can't celebrate responsibly and must destroy something in order to express your joy that your team just won a championship.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, unless you banned alcohol, I think would be the only way to even mitigate some of the damage. And I don't think they're going to do that. I think they make too much money from selling alcohol. And even then, I mean, I think you'd still see this. It's an unfortunate part of sports. I mean, like in Philly, they have to put actual grease on poles so that people don't climb to the top of the pole.
I still don't totally get that.
They climb up to the top of the pole.
Are they worried that the people are going to fall?
Yes, of course, and rip the lights down.
I mean,
and
is
everything.
that,
Now it's natural selection. I get it.
Natural selection.
It is, but
you
also
climb
like
to a top of a pole and fall off of it while celebrating. Then
I'll tell you, man. And if the Pods ever do win one, I think I want to be as close to my house as and I'm pretty much that way anyway. But I think I want to be as close to my home.
Yeah, I don't know that we're immune to this phenomenon. We never get a chance to test it. But
no, we never get a chance to test it. We've never gotten the chance to test it. I think if they did win, I would haul ass out of the stadium so fast it makes your head spin,
hope
dude.
they win on the road.
Yeah, hope they win on the road.
The Yankees,
because if it's a home game, we're going to be there.
Dodgers won on the road and didn't stop anything.
That's true. They won on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, just for us,
just
personally,
not being there.
Don't have to be there because
we'll be hopefully on the road.
If it happened at Petco Park, game's over, you're trying to leave the stadium, like the gas lamp, I don't know if the city infrastructure can handle it.
You think did Chicago go nuts when the Cubs won? I feel like they went nuts, but I don't know if I need to go look it up. I don't want to speak out of school, but
remember.
That's a long. The Red Sox, 86 years of frustration or whatever, 1918. I mean, I'm sure there's some steam to blow off, and we still got 30 years till we hit Red Sox peak and Cubs peak, right? So hopefully we're around for it.
The
Go ahead,
Philly
Ben.
light poles, though, I can't wait when we go to Philly in June to make Ben try to climb a
Yeah,
light
I want
pole.
to see.
Get about 3 inches up.
See how far. Paulie, please remember this in July. We'll see how far he can get up one of those poles. We'll place wagers. We'll let the tier ones bet. That will be just sliding down. He gets all the way to the top, climbs up there like a spider monkey. Oh, I can't wait for this.
All right, this story kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but I honestly can't believe how dumb this sounds. So this year in college football is the first time that they have done what NFL teams have been doing for years, where you have helmet communications. Coaches can signal in plays to the quarterback or the defensive captain so they can then relay it to their teammates. This is the first time they're doing it in all the Power 4 conferences. And, it seems like it's been working just fine through the first half of the season until we found out yesterday in a report from Texas Tech's athletic director that apparently these helmet communications have been unencrypted on open channels.
Oh, my God.
Which you're going, well, who can, it's still on a radio, who can hear it? And I promise you, these are college campuses. Every single college in college football has an engineering department with a scanner and people who are more than intelligent enough to very quickly intercept the opposing team's unencrypted signals from their coaches to their quarterback. The fact that this was not immediately addressed when they first implemented this system is it's mind-boggling. I promise you, the NFL's helmet-to-helmet communications are encrypted, and there's no way to easily intercept the signals. Anyone with a scanner and a knowledge of how to do it could be finding the right frequency and listening to the coach sending in the plays in college football all season long. This is 1 year after the Michigan stealing scandal, the complex ways that a team will go to try to get an advantage on their opponent. This would actually be a really simple way a team could just listen in and know every play.
I
that their
write
opponent-
47-26. All right. Hey, coach, they're going to run I write 47-26. Like it's not. You're not even. It's not even cheating per se. I mean, it's out there. That information's out there in the ether. All you had to do was grab it.
So apparently they're going to try to address it with some software updates and upgrades from the company that provides the communication systems and try to get them all, encrypted as soon as possible.
All colleges. This is every
all Power 4. Well, it's only in Power 4 teams. I think the Aztecs have used it as well, though. Yeah, apparently the system that they've been getting from the NCAA is just open to everybody.
You know, I'm thinking about signs and stuff. Like playing baseball, Paul, you played a long time. Signs were always like, it's nerve-wracking. You know, it really is. And we talked to Flan about it, Tim Flannery, who was the, many championship-winning third base coach for the Giants. He had to dumb it down for these guys so much. He said sometimes I would walk towards them. That meant bunt. I would back away from him. That meant take. You know what I mean?
Have you ever had to really give fast signs?
No.
Not just to dude. No. I did it when I coached high school baseball,
Terrible.
and I had to stand in front of a mirror
and
practice because you just kind of start doing the same thing over and over again. You're like, I gotta mix it up. You gotta make this
my coaches
look.
always use the indicator.
Yeah, of course.
Where it's the belt, and then whatever's after the belt is that. Now
if I touch my cap,
it's off. Right, it's a nightmare. Football has always confused me to no end. You have four guys standing; they have big signs on them, and you're like, "There's one of them where it's the right way," but football's a lot. It's a lot. I don't think we give them enough credit for how difficult. Getting 11 guys
Hawk 4.
Yeah. By the way, I got to see it in person. Speaking of college football sign stealing, when I went to the Aztecs game on Saturday, you see what Sean Lewis does? He has two guys with screens who stand behind him the entire game, and anytime he's signaling in a play, they wrap him up like a phone booth, so no one can see above him or behind him, if they've got binoculars or anything. It's a kind of paranoid and obsessive, and you can still see across the field what he's doing, so it's not like you can hide him completely. But these two guys have these screens, and they walk behind the coach the entire game, and anytime he's about to signal, they unfold the screens and then put him up like he's in some sort of phone booth.
It's incredible.
It's really odd to see.
It's incredible. All right, we got to do this. It's pretty good.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
We told you earlier in the week about Mike Leslie from WFAA in Dallas, here in Dallas. And he had tweeted something about Trayvon Diggs, and it basically said, what was Trayvon Diggs doing on this play? After the Cowboys lose, Trayvon Diggs in full uniform seeks out Mike Leslie, walks up to him and says, that's what you got from that play? That's what you got from that play? Mike says, answer the question. You want to answer the question? I'm just curious. And he said, let's talk about these nuts, as he walked away. And Mike Leslie was like, oh, okay, great. Well, Trayvon Diggs slept on it for 48 hours. He did do a podcast talking about it. But he decided that taking the high road was probably the best move. And I really liked this from Trayvon Diggs. He went and met with Mike Leslie from WFAA. He says he let his emotions get the best of him. And he gave him a gift, Ben. He gave him a gift. Of ranch-flavored these nuts. And he handed him a canister of these nuts.
The brand is D's.
These nuts.
It wasn't the Dietz and Watson.
No, remember Dietz nuts?
Yeah.
It was the D's nuts. And he gave him a gift. And they have there's a great picture of them shaking hands and him handing him the nuts.
It's a really good move, though.
Yeah, it is.
By Diggs, because I promise you that reporter, at the very least, will now always treat him fairly. Not that he wouldn't have otherwise, but it's okay, you know what? Everyone at the emotional loss of a game can react that way.
Sure.
You come back and you go, sorry about that. I definitely overreacted to your question. No, water under the bridge, going forward. It was a nice move there.
Yeah, very nice move. Class move.
And that's Don't and Do This for a Halloween Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, when we come back, it's been a while. Our friend Craig Calcaterra, a Cup of Coffee baseball newsletter, baseball writer, going to join us to wrap up what he saw from the World Series and the Dodgers championship Game 5 last night. That's coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, man.
That was a weird World Series. I think there's no other way to describe it. It was weird.
I can't tell if it. I mean, I know, obviously we don't like the result, but there were a couple of instant classic games,
of course,
and so it's like, did this take the result out of it? Was this a disappointing World Series because it didn't go 6 or 7? I think, yeah. I think the answer is unequivocally yes. You'd like to see it go 6 or 7.
It was not in any way what it was built up
to be. But when it was good, it was elite. I mean, it was like things you've never seen before. I mean, just insanity abounded at the World Series.
We got Craig Calcaterra standing by, cup of coffee, baseball newsletter. He is going to join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Well, it's not a very fun Halloween for a lot of folks out there, including this person who's got a stalled car in the center divide, West 52, just past the 15. Also traveling on southbound 15 before the 5 collision in the center divide. A couple vehicles over the right shoulder as well. Southbound 5 solo vehicle accident before Gilman. That's in the center divide. And in National City, southbound side of the 5 near Harbor Drive. Car and motorcycle involved in a crash. They are over to the right shoulder. North County Ride, eastbound 78 before the 15. Accident over to the right shoulder. Viejas Casino and Resort is home to the best players club, and My Viejas. Start earning points toward incredible rewards like free gifts, concert tickets, hotel stays, dining discounts, and more. It's time to ditch the other guys and join the best. The My Viejas Players Club, Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, joining us right now is Craig Calcaterra, who has covered baseball, nationally for some of the big outlets. Now does it on his own. I respect that. His own cup of coffee newsletter, which I'd imagine, like the day after the World Series, tough to drum up new subscribers until maybe spring training hits. So I don't know how much advertising, Craig, you're going to be able to do, but we do appreciate you coming on this morning with us here on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. How have you been?
I've been great. How are you?
We're doing well, man. And Calcaterra is like me. When the playoffs get here, it's his time to shine on Twitter. I mean, you don't get paid for Twitter. I don't get paid for Twitter. I think we're both making a horrific mistake because, I mean, it's like you were on fire. I felt like I was on fire, and I really enjoyed following along, watching the World Series with you, which is the best part of that social media platform with all of its challenges, certainly.
It's like any addiction, right? It has its highs. Let's not pretend it doesn't.
Absolutely, man. Like the hangover's pretty bad, but in the moment, you're like, oh, this is great. I'm on fire. I got that little dopamine hit. But man, that was. What is your kind of take? I mean, it was billed as, and I billed it as, this is Ali Frazier. This is going to be absolutely insane. It ended up looking more like a Butterbean versus my co-host World Series in 5.
It was Tyson Holyfield the first time.
The first time, yeah.
The Yankees should be up 3-2 right now.
Right.
That's what really should be happening. They should have won game 1, and Aaron Boone made a mistake, and then they shouldn't have, booted the ball all over the field in the top of the 5th inning last night, and we would have a very different series. But yeah, you're right. It was kind of sloppy. It was, there were 16 walks last night.
Oh.
And now a lot of that was because these guys were just completely gassed and their arms were like, shredded chickpea pasta or something like that. It was just not good. But we did have moments, right? There was like a lot of fun back and forth, and things can be ugly and still be entertaining. And I think that's kind of where this series landed.
The Dodgers, I picked them to win because of the depth of their offense and their lineup, and they had so many different ways to score, and we saw that. But no one could have predicted what happened in the 5th inning last night. As you wrote, if any one of the plays that are usually made in Major League Baseball 99% of the time, if any one of those 3 plays are made, Craig, the Yankees or the Dodgers probably don't score any runs. And this series is headed back to Los Angeles. I mean, that may be one of the worst playoff innings we've ever seen in baseball. I can't really think of one to compare with it.
I can't either.
No, the gold standard for me, at least in recent years, and when I say recent, I say like the last 30 years or something, was in 1996 when Mark Wohlers decided to go away from his best pitch and give Jim Leyritz the big meatball, and that turned the World Series in the Yankees' favor that year after the Braves had been up 2-0. But this was, 3 of those. And each one individually, I almost get, right? I mean, Aaron Judge's was probably the least defensible in that, he was looking at the runner and just completely missed a catchable ball. I know everybody wants to get on Garrett Cole for not covering first base, but as I forget who it was, it was, one of the former players that said on Twitter during the broadcast last night or something that, 99 times out of 100, Rizzo does take that play himself, and Cole just anticipated. That was more of a mental error than anything else. But, it was just uncanny. It was the wheels falling off. I was literally 30 seconds away from switching away from the game and doing something else when that inning began, and glad I didn't.
Yeah, no question, man. It was one of the we had the group text going on, and you make your plans for the next day's show, and this is going to be great. It's going to at least go back to LA for sure, and then we'll talk about it Monday, and we'll have a whole slate of things to talk about. And then we've seen it too many times this postseason, Craig, when it starts to get away. And you watch the Dodgers and their uncanny ability to just keep scrapping. Let me ask you this about the Yankees, because I feel like the ramifications, like there's a really good possibility that they lose Juan Soto now. Gleyber Torres is a free agent. And if I'm the Yankees, and I watched how Gleyber played very sloppily, like very, very sloppily from game 1 to game 5. The ramifications, Aaron Boone, does he come back? Like all of these, do you think there'll be sweeping changes in New York?
No, I don't, and I think that's pretty damning for the New York Yankees because they're a team. Look, everybody gets sick of Yankees are exceptional and nothing short of a championship is success. We know that's a lot of eye-rolly kind of stuff, but it's also sort of true with that team. But over the last decade or so, they seem pretty content to just kind of do status quo. Good enough is good enough, and there was a report late last night after the game that Boone is going to come back next year, and he will probably get a contract extension fairly soon because he'll be a lame duck next year. They have an option on him.
Yeah.
And it seems all signs point to him coming back. The 2 big problems that we talked about, the going with Nestor Cortez in game 1 to face Freddie Freeman, and then the fundamental errors that happened yesterday, those are normally things that get attributed to managers. In New York, apparently that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, it used to be 5 minutes, they're going to change a manager. Now Aaron Boone's going to go into his 8th season with a team that is not fundamentally sound. How much is Torres' problem that you mentioned because of coaching and because of just organizational rot as far as developing players? I think we've seen a lot of that, and it's a really harrowing time to be a Yankees fan when you're sort of accustomed to excellence.
Well, and think about the Jazz Chisholm tag to second with 2 outs, Soto tagging from third. Of course, it's a fly ball, but him tagging, Jazz has to make that 100% of the time. if he gets thrown out there, Soto doesn't score. They don't get that run. I mean, it was like
Soto was hustling.
He was hustling
to try to make sure he made it, but you can't guarantee that.
But you can't guarantee that. Like that's stuff that I try to teach my 7 and 8 year olds, Craig. Like it's just crazy how sloppy they played. I mean, and really in every single game.
Yeah, it was terrible, and it worked. The fact that Chisholm came in worked, but you're on Twitter all the time like I am, and you look at every single Yankees beat writer who has watched this team for 170 some odd games or whatever. All of them were like, boy, they lucked out there because they knew they've seen that over and over this year and over the past couple of years.
Talking to Craig Calcaterra, a baseball writer, cup of coffee newsletter, free on Thursdays, by the way. If you want to check it out today, you can do so. Craig, from our San Diego perspective, Shohei Ohtani made a bargain with the devil, and I understand it after playing with the Angels as long as he did and not going to the playoffs. He wanted a chance to play for a title. So he not only signed with the Dodgers, he deferred a massive amount of money to ensure that the Dodgers would be able to build around him. And he got it. He got in his first season a World Series ring. But in the old deal with the devil, there's always a price to be paid. And I wonder, given his playoff performance, and obviously the injury probably had something to do with it, is there any lingering questions here for Shohei coming out of this World Series that he had absolutely nothing to do with the Dodgers winning, at least against the Yankees?
I'm sure there's some self-motivation there that, he's not the sort of player that's going to, go on some interview and talk about all of his doubts and things. But I'm sure there's something about him that is probably bothering me a little bit that he really didn't contribute. But again, the injury was the thing. You watched him swing the bat. He was wincing every single time. He had low over the plate 92 mile per hour pitches that he would normally hit 500 feet that he couldn't barely get out of the infield. The guy is hurt. Even last night when he was putting on his T-shirt, the World Championship T-shirt after the game, like the MLB Twitter account posted a little video of him putting the T-shirt on. He's visibly wincing pulling a T-shirt on over his head. So, the injury is definitely a thing. I think he has two things to prove to himself. He doesn't have to prove it to anybody else because the guy is, amazing.
Yeah,
but
Shohei.
He has to prove that he can pitch again because I'm sure he wants to come back next year and pitch again. And then he has to be a bigger part of the next Dodgers championship, which, you know what, there probably is going to be one.
It's funny. We're experts at seeing wincing swings because we've seen maybe 10,000 of them in the last couple of years between Tatis, Machado, Arise.
Yes.
I mean, it feels like every time a Padre goes to the plate and swings the bat, there's a giant wince involved, which is, they're gamers. I'm glad to see them out there, but it would be nice to see healthy swings rather than the constant wincing at the plate.
I'd be curious to know what kind of latitude Dave Roberts actually had to either pinch hit or bench Ohtani. I bet you that's a decision that isn't necessarily 100% his, even if everybody says it is. Talking
to Craig Calcaterra here on Ben and Woods this morning. And looking forward, I had told our producer, Paulie, last week or so, I said, look, Ben made the point, hey, it's really hard to repeat as world champions these days. And it is. And there's the facts. It's just nobody's done it since the Yankees, back in the 90s and in early 2000s. And so you look at it now, though, and you go, yeah, they're set up for another one. They got this, I called it this morning, they got this Mickey off their back. They went out, they won a full season championship. They're getting stronger. I fear it may be, one of those 5 in the next 10 years, which will be excruciating for Padres fans. But how does baseball react? How does baseball keep up with what the Dodgers are going to do?
I think baseball just needs to not overreact. I just said that I think they'll win another one, and I don't think you should bet against them. But at the same time, let's not overstate what's happened here. For much of the season, they were kind of a mess. Not, relatively for a contender. Everybody expected 110 wins or something, and they didn't get that. I think the bigger question for the Dodgers, and this is more of a inside LA baseball sort of a thing, is they've got a real big problem with developing pitchers and keeping them healthy. There's something wrong with the way they train pitchers or coach pitchers that is having all these guys just get completely broken. And only against an Aaron Boone coach team could the Dodgers have gotten away with having basically one starting pitcher this postseason.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big problem for them going forward. You can't get through 7 months of baseball with 2 pitchers and duct tape.
They shouldn't have gotten away with it against the Padres.
No, they
which
shouldn't
is,
have.
You know, our cross to bear in San Diego that they had him on the ropes and let him go there, Craig.
24.
Don't know how much thought you've put into our team, you know, in the last couple of weeks and what their future looks like, but we have a lot of questions here in San Diego, and I'm curious to just kind of get your thoughts on where you think the Padres now head coming off a really good season, but with a lot of question marks going forward as well.
I think they're in good position. I mean, the free agency this year is going to be interesting because you've got that problem of like, oh God, a guy over 30 just had his career season. Now do we give him $10 million in profile?
Yeah,
I think you bring him back because he likes it and he tends to do well there. But you know, you got to answer questions like that, and maybe the newer owners and the control people don't make the same decisions that the previous one did, and it's hard to say. But you know, the Padres have a lot of talent. I think you have to understand just, you know, what you have in Jackson Merrill is amazing. You know, Tatis is only still, 25, 26 now.
Yep.
It's a good future for San Diego. I think what we saw from San Diego down the stretch and even in their good postseason run is closer to the real San Diego Padres than maybe what the Dodgers are doing right now is closer to the Dodgers' true level. So I would not hang your head at all if you're a Padres fan. I think the future looks pretty bright.
That's good to know, Craig. I really appreciate
you,
it.
buddy.
Fun to have you here on the day after the World Series, and wish you the best of luck. You do keep writing during the off season as well, if I'm not mistaken. You don't go into hibernation, so people can continue to check out the Cup of Coffee newsletter.
5 days a week, all year round.
Look at you. What a grinder.
Impressive.
Appreciate you,
Impressive.
buddy.
Well, we do the same thing in the off season as well.
That's true.
Take care, Craig.
Thanks a lot.
Craig Calcaterra, Cup of Coffee newsletter, and he'll have all the off-season news as well. It is funny how unpanicked about the Padres people outside of San Diego in baseball tend to be. Like, they look at the Padres and they see a team that's pretty well set up with good players and in good shape for the future. Yet sometimes I feel like we have trouble seeing it here.
Of course, man. We're in it. We're too close.
Yeah.
And you get that death spiral.
I think the sting of it is just always going to be, you feel like this was your best chance.
Yeah, and you know it's hard to live that way. Like, I'm never going to have it. Like, if you can't go into your life going, I'm never going to have a better year than I did when I was 22. I had the best. My summer of 22 is up. It was elite, but things change. I'm so glad that that's not the high point of my life, right? And I don't think as a fan, you can, but it's certainly not a great place to be at mentally or physically thinking, well, that's it. That's it.
I know what you're saying, Paul, because I agree. This was the Padres' best chance. And
that we've seen so far.
This was also the Dodgers' worst chance to win a World Series in the last several years.
They did it.
And they won. Yeah. And it was, I think, by far the least likely Dodgers team,
no question,
in the last 4 years to win a World Series.
There's no
They were
question.
much more likely to win in 21, 22, and 23. And here it is in 24. They actually get it done.
Buddy.
So, hope springs eternal. We will come back with more Halloween Ben and Woods on the way next year on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Thursday, a Halloween Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. Baseball season is over. It's always kind of a bummer when it ends. I'll go into a deep depression probably like Monday. I'll be fine this weekend. I got a lot going on this weekend, a ton, actually. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, Bald Reindl, this morning. Hey, it's good to have you here.
Great to be here.
Ben Higgins.
It's weird. I'm actually glad it's over. I don't think I wanted to take any more of the Padres not being in the baseball season.
Oh, I can't.
Once the Padres were out of baseball season, I kind of wanted to end.
I needed 7
pretty quickly. I know you like it to last as long as possible. The good news is tomorrow is November.
Mm-hmm.
You know, holidays will be on us before we know it.
Yep.
And then we'll have our Christmas extravaganza on December 20th.
On vacation.
And then we come back in January, head out to fantasy camp, third week of January.
Yeah.
And you get back from that, and it is
baseball time.
It's baseball time. It's spring training time. Obviously, before then, we'll have lots of coverage of the GM meetings and baseball's winter meetings and all the moves that the Padres will make during this offseason to try to bring back a team that can challenge now the defending world champions in their own division in 2025.
I'm just glad I've got my kids' baseball to focus on and coaching and things like that. I have to be around the game. Our Tier 1 season, we're probably going to do another tryout, Paulie, in December. So we'll have that to look forward to. Going to be moving up a level. So we're going to be looking for some talent on the Tier 1 baseball team. We did a tryout last year. It was a friggin' blast. We won 2 championships, a couple championships for San Diego. Probably doesn't mean as much, but it's something.
No parade.
When all the teams in the league are from San Diego, you can't really count it as a championship for San Diego. It's inevitable.
Somebody's going to bring one.
The San Diego team is going to win that championship.
Hey, why not us?
Why not us? Not like us, right? But now we're going up a level. Should be even dirtier. So I'm looking.
Are you
forward
saying
to
you
the
need
challenge.
me now?
No.
I would. There's a couple. I would have given you a couple ABs last year.
Not anymore.
There's
though.
not anymore. No, this would be too much for you. Sorry.
I'd love to see you get an AB at a fantasy camp, though.
Almost more than anything.
Maybe one of us on the mound.
Oh, elite. Who do you think you have a better chance hitting, me or Paulie?
I don't know. You're both just going to drill me, so it doesn't really matter. Got no chance of hitting either one of you when I know the first pitch is right in my ribs.
Not on purpose. We would never. We would never, ever.
I'd just go up with a bulletproof vest on and just wear it.
We would never hit you, ever. Not on purpose.
I'd be stepping in the box so far, just bailing out on every pitch.
Yeah, that would be fun to see.
Wouldn't look pretty.
I'm excited for that.
Get a GoPro on him.
Oh, it'd be so good. I mean, if you can't hit my 63 miles an hour, I don't know what to tell you at this point. But no, listen, I hate when the season ends. I just do. I love watching the games. The World Series games were it was a crap World Series, but there were some really, really incredible moments that I will never forget. And I'm sure Aaron Judge is never going to forget dropping that fly ball. I'm sure Anthony Rizzo will never forget not running to first and Garrett Cole not covering first, pitching one of the best games he's ever pitched in his life. He was dominant to that point. But yeah, the Dodgers felt inevitable with the broken bat single from Tommy Edman, and just the way that they played. That's how it ended up, man. And congrats to them.
Well, again, it won't be long. In fact, it never takes more than 15 minutes after the end of the World Series. Every single time, go to like ESPN.com. One of the first stories you will see are odds makers setting the line for the 2025 World Series champion. And came out yesterday. As you'd expect, the Dodgers are the favorites to win once again the 2025 World Series.
Sure.
Even though no one's gone back-to-back in a generation, 25 years, they were the number one choice. Your San Diego Padres, though, came in as the number 8 choice to win the 2025 World Series, plus 1,400, which actually is pretty good for a Padres, a starting point odds-wise to win a World Series.
Going to be interesting this offseason, obviously, as is every offseason around here under the A.J. Preller regime, at how creative they can get, what they can do. I tried not to let myself slide down into the pit of despair when you see what the team up north has done and what they have still and what they have coming back. But yeah, I mean, weird stuff happens in baseball all the time. I think all I'm asking for, and I think all Padres fans can ask for, is a chance to play in the tournament every year. That's kind of what your goal is at a baseline. The fans in this town beyond deserve it. 56 sellouts last year. You cannot backslide. And win-loss record, that's not what I'm talking about, right? Like you would hate if they backslid win-loss record, but there needs to be a really concerted effort. And I'm not saying you have to go and do what the Dodgers have done, but what I am saying is it at least has to appear that your foot is jammed down on the gas pedal. It has to at least appear that you are going for it all.
Obviously, these odds will change depending on the moves that are made by teams during the offseason. I'm curious, you haven't seen them, have you?
Who?
The odds.
No.
Okay, so I told you the Dodgers are the favorite, plus 400, and the Padres are the 8th choice. There's a big drop-off after that. So they have, like, the top 8 teams are kind of in a grouping. Can you name the other 6 teams, do you think, that are ahead of the Padres in 2025 World Series odds?
The Phillies?
Phillies
The
are
Mets.
one of them, plus 1,000. They're 4th. The Mets are just in front of the Padres, plus 1,200.
Okay, Phillies, Mets.
The Guardians.
The Guardians are not. They are well behind the Padres.
The Yankees.
Yankees are plus 700, second choice.
Okay, so Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies,
Mets. So you've got 3 more.
The Brewers.
The Brewers are not. They are well below the Padres.
The Astros.
the
The
Cubs.
Astros are 12 plus 1,200. Cubs are plus 2,500.
Oh, Braves.
Braves are plus 750. You got all but one of them now.
Who am I missing? Is it a surprise team here?
It's definitely not one of the power players, to
Seattle.
be sure. No, it's the
such good
Kansas
arms.
City.
it's the Orioles at plus
All right.
1,200
Yeah, makes sense.
with their young talent.
Yeah.
But those are the 7 teams currently ahead of the Padres for next season's odds.
I saw a tweet last night that broke my heart. And our buddy and Paulie grew up listening to Softy, Dave Softy Mahler up in Seattle, who is a legendarily diehard Mariners fan. Tells it like it is, as hard on the team as he can be.
I mean, you, Woodsy, you get crap for being like the fanboy on the radio. Like Softy's the OG fanboy.
OG fanboy.
He does
of the
not
Mariners.
care about what anyone thinks.
Yep.
He's going to talk. He's a season ticket holder for the Seahawks and the Huskies and the Mariners. Like, he talks like a fan. He reacts like a fan.
Yeah.
He comes on. He rips the team
Yeah.
a new one when they need it.
He tweeted last night, I'm 51 years old. Will I ever see the Seattle Mariners play in a World Series game? And I mean, he did a poll and people were like, no, which is insane to think about. And you think about how
play, not just
play,
win, but
just
play
play
in
in a
World
game.
Series.
Play in a World Series game, dude.
Oh, I think he will.
Do you?
Yeah. They're close.
It's been 50.
Benny,
I know, but
think-
they're close enough to the playoffs consistently that they're going to get in at least. I mean, assuming Softy lives a normal lifespan.
Call it 25 more years.
I would say they will be in the playoffs a bunch of times, and we know the randomness of the postseason. They will have that year where, at the very least, they can get to the World Series.
So
the American League isn't right, especially right now.
It's not.
It's not. A league. I think it's a much tougher road right now
in the National League.
By
League. Far, but
not just the Dodgers, but the Mets, the Braves are. Mets spend a ton.
Cubs.
The Braves are a well-run organization.
Brewers are always sneaky good.
I think the National
Diamondbacks.
League is a much tougher league to get through right now than the American League.
I do too. But that being said, he also knows the ownership hands that they're in. He knows the general manager's hands that they're in. If you think about when Paulie grew up, that kind of golden age of Mariners baseball, which really wasn't all that special.
That was when it was much tougher in the American League.
That's true.
You had
'cause you had
both the Yankees and Red Sox to try to get through.
I mean, a team with Hall of Famers like Ken Griffey Jr.,
Randy Johnson, Alex
Edgar Martinez,
Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez.
On down the line.
And then so many good role players like Mike Cameron, Dan Wilson, who's now manager for the team. Like, they couldn't even get to a World Series. They won 116 games with Ichiro, future Hall of, or is he?
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
About to be a Hall of Famer.
About to be, I think.
Rookie of the Year, MVP his first year here, and 116 games in the regular season, and you don't even make it to the World Series.
Dodgers
You're
won
like,
111
"Good
a couple years ago. They didn't make it,
Yeah.
know, and with their young pitching, They just don't have an offense, and they don't have good ownership. And so I think for him, we heard their general manager say, hey, 52%. That's what we're looking for.
I'll say as a Padres fan, the outlook for the Padres is a hell of a lot brighter.
And I think so, too. I think
agree.
so, too.
I agree. But it's going to be...
You feel like A.J. Preller will do anything it takes. He will die trying to
I think he'll die trying.
The World Series roster and bring the trophy here to San Diego, whereas I don't know that Mariners fans have that feeling with their ownership and their GM.
Alex says the Padres don't have a good offense either, 24 innings. No, they didn't have a good offense for literally 24 innings this season.
Before that, they had the best offense in baseball.
So again, having your team knocked out because they didn't do what they've done all year is really tough to
I
stomach.
do feel like part of me has the doomer San Diego fan in me going, now you got to start back at 0-0, and they're gonna go through their struggles again next year. But part of me also goes, it'll be Mike Schilt's second year. He's already built the base. They will start at a higher level next year.
Hey, my dudes, how you doing?
Hey, good.
Than when they showed up at spring training. And, totally candid, when we had dinner with Mike Schilt, he was not afraid to tell us, I don't think we're that good yet.
Yeah.
But we will be good by the end of the year. And he was right. Yeah. He was absolutely right. They weren't very good at the beginning. They did get a lot better throughout the year. I would imagine that when he shows up at spring training, it's going to be in a much different place than he'll be like, okay, now we did all that last year. We start at this level. Let's try to continue to improve from there. I think the baseline is a lot higher for the Padres in 2025.
So are the expectations.
Yeah, you feel like the Padres met a lot of their goals this year.
Yeah, I'm not picking them to finish 500 this year. I'm picking them to finish better than 500.
I would assume. Yeah. Wait and see what some of the moves are, but
for them to meet as many goals next year as they did this year, it's kind of World Series or bust.
But Mike Schilt doesn't have to spend months, installing his culture, his his focus, his fundamentals, everything that he wants them to do. Most of these guys will be back, and they've already done it.
And a lot of that stuff actually can be better. It can be better. There's always room for improvement, certainly.
I'm sure Mike Schilt would be the first to tell you that.
No doubt.
Quickly, because you mentioned Ichiro and Hall of Fame. Did anyone change their Hall of Fame status in this postseason?
Ooh, good question.
And I'll bring up two names for you. Freddie Freeman probably was already headed there, almost certainly, but no one has ever won an MVP and a World Series MVP other than Pete Rose and not gone into the Hall of Fame. So if he wasn't a slam dunk already, which he probably was, he is now a 100% lock for the Hall of Fame. The other name I will bring up...
I already know. Hang on.
Ben, you do a great job.
Did Dave Roberts punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame?
Indeed.
With this postseason?
Indeed.
He very well might have.
He did.
I don't know that he did anything differently, and I don't know that he could have gotten in on simply one short Dave Roberts World Series title. Yeah. But now he's got two on his resume. He's got a decade plus of regular season success, winning percentage. Yeah. Don't think they're going to be able to keep him out at this point.
3 total?
3 as a player. He had the one with the Red Sox, and then 2 as a manager. I don't think he's getting in for any of his playing accomplishments. He's going in as a manager.
It's a championship on the resume.
But it is part of the resume, and probably means that at some point he will be in Cooperstown.
Yeah, I thought a lot of moves he made, leaving Trinan in. I was like, well, he's dead here. Nope. Bueller to close the game. They're going to light them up. All I kept seeing on Twitter was that the Dodgers don't have enough pitching to finish this game, and they made it work. And they picked their manager up, and he picked them up, and put faith in Blake Trinan. And Blake Trinan was absolutely nasty, and it takes a lot of that World Series belongs to him, certainly. But Dave did a really good job. He got in our dome, that's for sure.
R. Barker 333 Mookie Hall of Fame, and certainly helped his argument as well.
Yeah, no brainer.
He's probably on that track also.
Yeah,
and I would assume that Shohei is going to be there when all is said and done as well.
Agree.
So that's a Hall of Fame laden roster,
big time. Not
shocking that they won a World Series.
No, they were the favorites to win it. Don't get gaslit. They were the favorites to win it. They won it. Check cleared. They did it. Credit to them. And they exercised those demons.
All right. One thing I'm looking forward to in the offseason, maybe not as much Woods. I know Paulie is looking forward to it. is college basketball season.
Oh,
which
I'm excited about it.
Is now officially will be underway next week. But Aztecs did play last night.
It's weird. I'm looking forward to Aztecs
basketball,
season.
yeah,
and I guess
and the tournament,
Mountain
and the
West
tourney, yeah,
in that
yeah.
regard.
Yeah.
Like it's. I'm not going to sit down on a Saturday
No,
probably and watch the CBS
don't
game of the week.
Yeah, I don't either. In the regular season, I watch very little non-Aztecs
college football
basketball until the tournament.
I'll watch any top college football matchup on a Saturday. It's just there's a lot of schools, a lot of players.
So many.
It's a lot to consume.
I like learning about them all in March, along with 80% of the rest of the country. Like, oh man, this is a St. Bonaventure. Oh, that's pretty cool.
But all in on the local team and the teams that we'll be playing for.
But
sure.
I had an eye-opening, viewing experience last night with what I saw from the Aztecs. I will share some of that with you when we come back after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
So it's never a great idea to take too much away from an exhibition game in any sport.
But you're about to.
That includes college basketball against a Division II opponent like San Diego State faced last night at Viejas Arena against Cal State San Marcos. So they were, physically superior, as you'd imagine, faster, much taller. But I was very impressed with what I saw. I watched almost all the first half, key plays. We went out and shot some video of the game. It was not on television, but I was able to kind of see what the Aztecs were up to, and I was impressed. So the overall final score was 80-39. It was a 27-point game at halftime, which is what I set the line at 27.5 yesterday. They covered that pretty much in the first half. Really just kind of kept it going all the way through. Got to see some of the new faces, including Magoon Gwath. He's the 7-footer or close to 7-footer who plays generally at the three-point line. He made one three-pointer, but he also blocked 4 shots, and that was pretty interesting to see because he could go out from, it wasn't just rim protection. He could go out and block 3-pointers out on the arc. Did that a couple of times. That was very impressive to see one of the new Aztecs in action. Nick Boyd, who was the transfer from Florida Atlantic, had a really nice game, 18 points, led all scorers after having missed pretty much the last few months in a walking boot. Finally gets on the court and looked impressive last night for San Diego State, dished out 3 assists. But a guy I wasn't necessarily expecting to see a lot from, but looked good, was Wayne McKinney, who was a USD player, transferred to San Diego State, and he was a shooting option for the Aztecs in that game yesterday. He shot over 50%, as did most of them. I think the Aztecs shot over 50% from the field in the game last night. So you saw a lot of contributions from some of the new guys, and even without Reese Waters, who again is out for a couple of months, they looked, Woods, like a team that had maybe more depth than even some of the teams we've seen the last couple of years that have made runs in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a shocker at all, from a Brian Dutcher built team, coach team. I did like this tweet I saw. You guys know Darnay Tripp from NBC?
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's great.
Big fan.
Huge fan of Darnay. One of my favorites in this town. Period. The end. Darnay tweeted, crowd at Viejas got excited to see Magoon Gwath let fly from a couple feet behind the arc. It was an air ball, and he looked pretty bummed about it. Next time down the floor, he hoisted one and absolutely nailed it. The Goon experience is off to a thrilling start. He had some video of some of the ridiculously comical blocks from Magoon Gwath. He's going to be a blast to watch. Big dude, tall dude, just a beast. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, especially, knowing that this is probably baseline and as he gets more comfortable with the system at San Diego State. But looks like defensively he's able to go in right away and play. One of the other new guys didn't really do much in terms, I don't think he scored at all. Jared Coleman-Jones missed all 6 of his shots, but did have 5 rebounds, and they're going to need the big presence that you've got to have if you're going to be successful in college basketball nowadays. But yeah, they had I think 10, 12 guys who played at least 10 minutes. And again, it's an exhibition game. Dutch is going to have to settle on a rotation and see which guys actually, when the season starts, are getting the real minutes in a game.
It's the same thing as your bullpen in spring training is going to look different than your bullpen at the break, right? You got to see what you got, and you got to see who steps up, and you got to see who stays healthy, and all of that, and who's meant for the moments. It's the hardest part about coaching, I think, in college basketball has got to be excruciating. There's a couple of teams that can. They have the best players in the world. They can put them in the right rotations or whatever. But for a program like San Diego State, man, that's when you feel like that coach really gets his hands dirty, and he has to.
And one thing about Dutch is so many coaches, have their system, and that's how you're going to play. And at San Diego State, obviously, it always starts with defense, but I feel like there's also a flexibility with Dutcher. Like last night, and maybe part of it was just being more athletic than the opposition, but there was more, running, fast breaks. It was a faster-paced offense based on the personnel that Dutch has this year. Obviously, in recent seasons, it's been a lot slower. Last year, what was the offense? It was, give the ball to Jaden Ledee.
Yeah.
He'd just back guys in and just use his imposing physical force to drive the San Diego State offense. But it's not going to be like that. It's going to look completely different this year.
And, we expected so much more from guys like Reese Waters, but maybe those guys, I know he's hurt, but maybe those guys without a Jaden Ledee get a better chance to be more of a team. Jaden Ledee was a superstar for the Aztecs, a man amongst boys, man, really. So now, might have to play a little bit more team basketball.
Well, and guys like Miles Bird and B.J. Davis, who didn't, contribute a ton last year because they had to take they had to take a back seat to Jaden Ledee. They can step up now this year. It's the way of things in college basketball that the older guys clear out, and then the younger guys get to see. All right, can I now take that step up into that new role?
It's a lot like radio, buddy.
And at San Diego State, for the most part, they have had that constant step up. That's what a program is. It's building, guys that are ready to then take the place of the guys that leave.
Yeah, 100%.
And San Diego State, starting with Steve Fisher and now continuing here with Brian Dutcher, have done a really good job reloading, restocking the program. And I fully expect, the Aztecs to once again compete, at least, for the NCAA tournament. And, if they stay healthy and things are going well at the end of the season, maybe they can, make a run into the tournament again this year. Based solely on what I saw yesterday, I'm optimistic again about this San Diego State season.
You have to be every single year with Coach Dutcher at the helm. Coach Fisher, if you're listening right now, and I know you do listen to Ben and Woods, expect a text from Paulie in the next few days. Going to try to get Coach Fisher on next week.
Love to get his thoughts on this year's team for sure.
Love that man.
Opener again is next Wednesday against UC San Diego. Then they get right into the teeth of the schedule. Gonzaga, Creighton in that tournament in Las Vegas over Thanksgiving.
The old measuring stick.
Oregon, and then another good team they'll play no matter what on Saturday in that tournament to be determined. So, I was worried with Reese Waters out. I thought, and so many new players, this could be a team that looks a little disjointed. I've seen way more disjointed exhibition games from the Aztecs in years past than yesterday's. Actually looked kind of jointed yesterday. So good things from the Aztecs. All right, we'll get back to baseball when we return. One more smart baseball segment with Eno Sarris to wrap up the World Series and the season. Brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Eno Sarris tweeted last night, just enough pitching. Congrats, Dodgers. I wonder, is that the minimum amount of functional pitching you can have and still win the World Series?
I think so.
Because they stretched it to the absolute limit last night.
Yeah.
And Eno pointed this out as well, that when they got through Blake Trinan, if they had gone to the bullpen, the only guys they had left were Kasparius, who started and threw 43 pitches in Game 4. Honeywell threw 50 pitches in the one inning. Knack, who threw 56 pitches in 4 innings.
Yeah.
And Daniel Hudson, who had thrown 42 pitches over the past 2 days. So it was Buehler or someone who might not have had anything left in the tank, for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
and it worked out perfectly for them in the end.
It really did,
perfectly.
man. It really did. It was crazy. I mean, it always blows up in their face, those moves, and it didn't.
We will talk to Eno right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a few things to mention here. One of them is a stalled car in the slow lane northbound 5 right before the 163. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows this 2-car collision on northbound 15 past Friars Road. They're over to the right shoulder. In the North County, South 5 coastline near Poinsettia, there is a collision involving a couple cars. They're over to the right shoulder and still clearing an accident out of the left lane on West 76 near Gird Road. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time for the super polished, yet to be named Smart Baseball Weekly segment with Eno Sarris, son of a bitch. Brought to you by 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from the ballpark by the bay in Chula Vista. Here's Eno Sarris with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
So, Woods, you're always mad because you always say, you haven't seen that movie. And it's true. I've not seen nearly as many as you have. There is a movie that I enjoyed from 1998 starring Gwyneth Paltrow. It's called Sliding Doors. You ever see that one?
Yes.
There is, so it's a movie about two different paths that you can take. Right. And as we talk to Eno Sarris here from The Athletic, there's a very slightly different alternate universe in which this World Series looks very, very different than the one that played out for the Dodgers. One in which they lose Game 1, the one in which they lose Game 5 and are heading back to L.A. down 3-2 to the New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's such a complicated word. We talked about it a lot on this show is luck. And, I think when people think of luck, there's a lot of different things they think of. But one of the ways that it plays out in the series is, sprinkle, remember that 5th inning last night with, I think it was the 5th inning with all the errors for the Yankees that just steamrolled on them. And just sprinkle those errors throughout the game instead of having them happen all at once, And the Dodgers score 1 or 2 runs instead of 5, because you would expect, given their defense, maybe Judge drops a fly ball. He's not the best center fielder, and maybe Cole forgets to run to first. But you put those all into one inning, and you're just like, oh no, it's disaster. And that definitely happened in that game. And, there's other ways to think of luck too, which is just a certain call going one way or another, and then the pitcher gets out of the inning, as opposed to what if Blake Treinen had walked that guy, that last guy he had to get, then they have to bring out Buehler before that, and maybe Buehler is a little bit more tired because he's in reliever mode. It's like the bird flaps the wings and things change, but so you can't really go into the alternate universes, but there's those games were tighter than the 4-1 series win for the Dodgers suggests, I think.
And we had this conversation last year after the Padres lost and did not make the playoffs, and we talked about how nobody really knows anything, and you covered the sport for a living, and we do as well, and we talked about it this morning. It's getting harder and harder and harder and harder to prognosticate. Now, it's very simple to say the Dodgers will win the World Series next year. We've seen great Dodger teams. I've had them to win the World Series the last 10 years, and they hadn't until this one, and it's just getting harder and harder to prognosticate. And from your perspective, I think we've talked about roster construction and stuff before. Yeah, I mean, you can't construct a roster. You can't construct a roster that, when you look at it, all right, we'll have one starting pitcher and then burn all of our bullpen. It's so dumb that the best way to describe this sport and the weird things that happen is literally 2 words, and that's baseball. And nobody likes to hear it, but that's absolutely the case.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle every year. You can't overlearn, right?
Right.
You can overlearn. You can be like, oh, the key is, a deep bullpen, but there are different ways to win in this sport. The one thing I would say that both of these teams did that, could be considered, successful considering how many games they've won and they've been just into the World Series. They spend a lot of time and energy and resources on the lineup. And the Dodgers had the best offense in the postseason. Last year, the Rangers and Diamondbacks had the best offense in the postseason. And I think, from my research, offense is the thing that's still the highest correlated with postseason success, which is, it's still not super highly correlated because the postseason is really hard to predict. But, offense is important. And the other thing is, if you look at their bullpens, a lot of them are built on minor trades, waiver wires, failed starters within their own system. And I think that's the value of coaching. So, I don't know who's graduating from the Padres pen.
They're losing Tanner Scott to free agency, but they're pretty much getting everybody else back, I think.
Your beloved Morahone will be back, yeah.
I think I would say to my R&D department, find me 3, arms that you think Ruben Niebla, can make into something better. Find me 3 waiver wire arms. And that's how we're going to attack the bullpen. So, I mean, they may have a money crunch as well, so that might be the best way to think about how to do it. But if you look at Luke Weaver was like a waiver claim that had just moved to the bullpen and had some velo, and then they taught him 2 or 3 new grips, and boom, you have a closer, So that's the kind of energy I would take to the bullpen, I think, and do whatever I can to keep that lineup near the top of baseball. Because another way of luck is saying, like, what if the Padres had hit 1 home run or 2 home runs those last games? So what if they had any offense in those last games?
Just 1 run would have been great.
Did what the Dodgers did, 2 solo home runs. That's all they had in that last game. I mean, it wasn't like they set the world on fire in Game 5. We're talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic. And by the way, Padres have done it with Jeremiah Estrada, waiver wire claim turned into a big, and then Sean Reynolds now could be in their bullpen next year.
That might just be the guy.
As the guy as well. They're already on that path. I want to ask you, you talked about the lineup with the Dodgers, and it's one thing that, as a Padres fan watching the Dodgers, the one thing I always dread is how good they are at commanding the strike zone, not swinging, not chasing at pitches out of the zone. And in your studies, Eno, is that something that a team can work on and get better? I mean, I'm sure every baseball player wants to get better at not swinging at pitches out of the zone. Chasing. Manny would love to not chase that slider that breaks into the left-handed batter's box, but you still end up doing it a bunch during the season. And the Padres were very patient in 2023. Didn't really work that well for their offense. This year they were more aggressive. It kind of worked better. But every time the Dodgers come in, I go, it's going to be just a nightmare for the pitchers because it's going to be so hard. Every single batter is going to battle. How do they do that?
Yeah, the Yankees and Dodgers were the 2 teams that chased the leads in the playoffs. So, and they were among the top 5 in the regular season too. So that is something they do well. It's a bit of a complicated thing as I've looked at it, because if you just look at chase rate itself, it doesn't actually correlate that well to other offensive stats. And the reason is that you can't be too passive. You can watch strike 3, like you said about
Trent
the Padres
Grisham
in years past. Yeah, you can watch strike 3. We talked about Trent Grisham to death. So you can be too passive. The other thing is power lives out in front of the plate, and so being aggressive and getting that ball out in front has good power ramifications. I think what the Dodgers do really well is not just be patient, but go get things selectively. Like, you can actually get Max Muncy to chase something out of the zone, like a fastball out of the zone high. That's the book on him, right? But the reason he does that is because if you miss at all on a fastball high, he's got the type of swing where he deposits that in the bleachers. So, they're selectively aggressive, and I think they're basically I think the Dodgers, just alone the Dodgers, are the best team at advanced scouting and scouting in general. I know, here's a story. I was talking to a pitching coach on an opposing team, and he said, I was trying to tell my guys what to do against the Dodgers hitters. And I was scouting the heat maps, looking for the blue zones, looking for this, and being like, oh, he's only this on this. And, I came up with a game plan. I gave it to my pitcher. He went out there, and the Dodgers just shellacked him and seemed to know everything that was coming. So what the Dodgers do, not only do they scout the opposing teams, they scout themselves. And so when they talk to Freddie Freeman about the game tonight, they say, hey, they're probably going to do this. Like, we looked at you, and we decided that this is how we would attack you. If we were Clark Schmidt and we were pitching to you, we would do this and this and this. So watch out for this, this, and this. So they not only scout the other team, they scout themselves, and they do an amazing job of preparing. They have a traject, which is the newfangled hitting thing, and so they might even say, Freddie Freeman, go watch a bunch of Clark Schmidt sweepers on the outside corner, because he's going to try and backdoor you with the sweeper or whatever. And so you can like prepare that way. So they have the best technology, and I think some of the best scouting in the big leagues.
Talking to our pal Eno Sarris here on Ben and Woods this morning, and health, notwithstanding the shoulder for Shohei, how do you see them? It's going to be it's a great problem to have, but it's going to be a whole different headache for them next year. I mean, he's not going to hit 59 home runs next year. He's not, because he's going to pitch, and that's deadly. I mean, he could win 20 games and hit 30 home runs, and still a damn good season for Shohei. But
they used to.
Yeah, how do you think they're going to use him next year?
Yeah, they used to do the thing where he had to rest from hitting the day after he pitched.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll still do that. The one thing is that they'll probably, almost definitely go to a 6-man rotation, because Yamamoto was on a 6-man rotation himself this whole year. And then you bring Ohtani back, you say, well, maybe we can get more out of you and get you deeper into the season with however many innings you have if we do six-man rotation. You have Glass now, who's made of glass, so you do the same exactly, and before, and
you've got Corbin Burns. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest.
I know where this is heading.
Everyone saw that. We have not brought that up yet, but there's got to be some sort of penalty. I don't know. Corbin Burns.
He's like the second after this World Series is over.
Tweets the eyeball emojis after the Dodgers win. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's got to be some sort of tampering.
The funny thing is that the way this is set up, the Yankees and Dodgers both have a fair amount of coin in their pocket, and they've just made a bunch of money on the World Series, and they have similar needs because, I could see moving. They both have they're a little bit soft defensively. The Dodgers and the Yankees are in center and short. And, not necessarily short for the Yankees, both be fine, but like center and infield. And so if you move Jazz to center field, then you need a third baseman. If you move Tommy Edman to center or to short, you need the opposite, right? Yeah. And so I see them really setting up for them both to be bidding really hard on Willy Adames, basically the only real everyday shortstop that's on the market. And Corbin Burns and Juan Soto, just because it's Juan Soto. So,
yeah. I don't think the Dodgers are going to get Soto. How do you see the Soto play? How do you see it playing out this offseason? I mean, is it going to be fast? Is it going to be slow?
I think it'll be Yankees Mets, and I think it'll actually take a while because Boris loves to wait it out. He's not worried that he waits too long and they have to take like a Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery deal. Like that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So he's just going to wait as long as possible. It could be done during the winter meetings, but I spent the whole last winter meetings waiting for something to happen and nothing happened.
Yep. Same.
We, in fact, we had to fill the airways just like you. We ended up just doing a bunch of interviews with people in the industry about how they got into the industry. Because
thanks for the idea.
Exactly. There was no breaking news to be had. So, I think that, Boris is like, I don't care if I've had a couple mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep waiting because waiting has worked for me in the past.
It's a great call,
man. I don't think we're going to Texas this year for the winter meetings. But
we're not.
Eno, will you be there? Can we count on you to be our correspondent then?
I will call in, and I'm not even. I'm staying the extra Thursday, so if we just, I can do a regular Thursday hit if that's what you want.
Can you promise me that you'll sprint from wherever you are before you call in?
So good.
Join us.
You know what I'll probably do, because it'll be the last day of the winter meetings. I'll probably answer in one of those "I've been up all night drinking" voices.
Oh, good. I like that too. Thank you so much for this season, bro. It's just one of the best segments, man.
Always a pleasure to talk to you every single week, and I do think our audience appreciates and enjoys it as well. So, you take care, man, and thank you so much for everything.
We're running it back next year.
Yeah, we're running it back.
All right. I really enjoy talking to you guys.
Thanks buddy.
By the way, Eno, what is that short for something? I always wondered.
No, I'm named after Brian Eno.
Oh,
who
nice.
Is, the producer of Talking Heads, YouTube.
Brilliant.
Good crossword puzzle word. Producer Brian Blank. You see that a lot.
It's really good. That's a good guy to be named after,
Yeah.
Better than like OJ
Yeah,
or something.
I had interesting parents. My middle name is Kama, like the Kama Sutra.
Oh,
wow.
Eno, I'd like to let's delve into that this off season, Eno, and how much money you actually spend on therapy when your parents are comma K-A-M-A.
So Sarris, Eno is Eno, Sarris.
That is that's unbelievable. I'll be thinking about that for the rest of the day.
I know, me too. No,
Thank you,
I'm glad
buddy.
I asked.
Appreciate it.
Talk to you later, Eno.
See you guys.
Later, bro.
Eno, Sarris. Kama Sutra, Sarris.
Interesting.
I just figured it was like some sort of,
abbreviation or
ethnic, ethnic Eno. No, Brian Eno. How about that?
Very cool.
All right, we'll come back. Paulie's got a bald Reindl report for us on Halloween next here on The Fan. All right, quick World Series question before we get to the Reindl Report. For the writers who vote on World Series MVP, one of the easiest decisions of all time.
Yeah, no-brainer.
No-brainer. Freddie Freeman was the World Series MVP, homered in the first 4 games, had the clutch 2-run single in the Dodgers comeback. There really wasn't any debate as to who else it could have been.
No.
So who is your World Series MVP runner-up then? Who is the second most important person for the Dodgers in that series? Because I think that is an interesting question. You can make an argument for a lot of different guys. I'll lean toward Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
As perhaps the number 2 choice. I know, it's hard when a starting pitcher does the one game, but he also had obviously the last 3 outs, which were big.
Blake Trinan.
Blake Trinan would be a good argument for number 2.
If we saw a Padres reliever go out and take it like he did, he'd be the one I'd be talking about the most in here this morning. His arm was shredded, just toast. Like, didn't have much left and wanted the ball, and Dave asked him, and he said, I want it.
Offensively,
Nestor Cortez. He was really one of the most valuable players for the Dodgers.
That helps.
Gleyber Torres, very valuable.
Mookie, Kike, Tommy Edman, Teoscar. They all came up with moments.
Sure.
But it was so obviously Freddie.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to. You probably didn't even have to bother with the official vote. I assume they did.
That SOB got me, dude. He made me. He made me he made himself likable to me, which is not easy to do.
That?
Freddie made himself likable to me. Look, the stuff he went through with his kid early in the season was so gnarly. And then the story about his dad, I was like, don't do it, dude. Do not do it. Don't you do it. Shut your mouth, please. No more gut. I am such a softie, dude. You know that. Like, especially when it comes to kids. And, boy, he got me. So, if it's got to go to anybody on that team, I'm glad it was him.
I'm not like you, Woods, in that I don't have the sometimes irrational anger about the Dodgers. But
you probably need more irrational anger.
Well, this is their hit celebration. It infuriates me every time.
It's infuriating.
Why is it so infuriating?
I don't know. If my little leaguers did, I'd be like, that's it. You're done. I'm out.
And that's one of several bizarre, strange celebrations that they have.
Yeah, they got a few.
It really was the one thing that totally infuriated me about the Dodgers this year.
It really, when Kike does it, it makes me insane. I feel my blood pressure rise.
Shohei doing it.
Shohei makes me nuts.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But all of them really. Mookie,
I hate it.
You know Mookie could be cooler than that.
Yeah.
And the way they have to turn and do it in multiple directions twice
makes me nuts.
It also drives me irrationally crazy.
I've had to stop looking at it because it made me that insane. I'm trying to be better about regulating my temper and things. And
do Dodgers fans get that way when the Padres do the heart?
I don't know, but that's for our owner who passed away.
That's what I feel like. It's fine. And other teams have celebrations, and they don't bother me. But
Adam says not our Adam. Adam says the fact that you guys are bothered is weird. I don't think it's that weird.
I don't know.
I don't think it's that weird. It's weird.
That one just got me every single time.
Yeah.
I look at it and I go, that just turned my stomach for some reason.
Me too.
Back to the MVP odds, like who comes in second.
Yeah.
Where was Ippei Mizuhara on those odds? I'm just asking the question. Asking the question.
He's up there.
He's a very valuable piece for the Dodgers in their run. Just wondering.
After that World Series performance, they would have been better off with Shohei in jail, I think.
Nando in the chat says, my costume is like my comedy. Blah. Well, it's your opinion. Yet you're here.
All right, Paulie. Let's go
get
to
things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I am thankful to Tier 1 John. He just sent us a story a few minutes ago during our last commercial break, and I have replaced one of my Reindl Report stories with this one because I got a story here. We've talked about some of these betting stories in the past, and we have a sports bettor out there who's on the brink. Well, it's debatable how close he really is, but he's on the brink
He's
of
not
turning $50 into $1 million on a parlay, a 5-leg parlay.
Just needs one more thing to happen. Just one.
This is where the bottom usually drops out on Pauly.
Yes,
one more leg.
The master of the 4 out of 5.
If the goal was to get 4 out of 5, I'd be a very rich man.
He sends us a screenshot. I'd say
Once a
every
week.
Saturday. No, we get one on Sunday morning about Saturday's college football. And then we get one on Monday about
4 easy wins and 1 excruciating loss.
Yeah, pretty much.
4 or 5 is
You
your
gotta start
nickname.
doing the teaser. Where 4 out of 5 still pays.
That's right.
Anyways, $50 on a 5-leg parlay to pay out $1 million, just over $1 million. It's a plus 1,937,276 odds. And it was for 5 championships to be won.
Titles.
Titles.
That's legit then.
He started off with UConn. They were plus 500 to win the NCAA tournament. Check 1 out of 5. After that, in June, he hit 2. He had the Boston Celtics plus 210 to win the NBA.
Okay.
And the Panthers plus 700 in the NHL to beat the Oilers.
Wow.
He also had the Dodgers plus 320 to win the MLB World Series.
So it comes down to the Super Bowl, I assume?
Super Bowl, yep. Any guesses on who his
Now does he
preseason
need
prediction?
Now I know
to
it.
win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's a
He's
buffoon.
He seems like he's got a lot of favorites.
Pick the worst team you can think of.
Well, so to get the
Patriots?
plus 1 million odds, he did have he didn't pick the Chiefs.
No.
He didn't pick
Okay.
the 49ers. He picked a plus 3,000 odds team, which you picked all the favorites in the other sports.
Yeah, you did.
Wow. So he needs a long shot to win the Super Bowl.
The longest.
It's the New York Jets.
It's the New York Jets.
Oh no.
You're so done. You're so done.
He must have thought, hey, they didn't have Aaron Rodgers last year.
They got
All that
him
hype.
back.
They got him back. They got a point to prove this season.
By the way, nobody's buying that from him either.
Oh,
No.
no.
You can't cash that.
I mean,
for
the Jets could almost be eliminated from playoff contention
like in a couple weeks.
tonight.
Yeah, tonight maybe.
We'll have that in our football threesome coming up in just a few minutes.
He is cooked.
I mean, the odd if he would have picked the Chiefs, let's just call it the Chiefs, the favorite.
You wouldn't have won as much, but you could have actually
but
won.
$50 would still—that's a hell of a payout.
It's a good
I
payout
would
for
imagine
picking
a
5 champions, yeah.
championship parlay. He had to go with the big, like I said, it was plus 500, plus 200, plus 700, plus 320, and then plus 3,000.
I
to juice
wonder
that up.
what you could sell that for. I mean, it's not
$20.
impossible.
I don't,
impossible.
I don't even think he makes his money back. Yeah, $50.
$20.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds Super Bowl odds right now on the
Would you give $20 for that bet?
I wouldn't pay $20 for that ticket.
No.
There's no chance.
Well, if you put $20 right now on the Jets to win the Super Bowl, I would assume you'd have to win a lot.
Can find out for you here shortly.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see if I can find. Show more. All right, Jets right now are only plus 10,000. So bet 20, you'd win what? 200,000 or 20,000? 20,000.
Yeah.
So you could bet 20 to win $1 million.
Right.
That's a good bet then.
Yeah,
it's a much better bet than betting 20 to win 20,000.
Michael's asking if he's cashing out early. You can't. You can't. I mean, no one's going to. Somebody has to want to buy that ticket from you, and I just don't think there's any chance the Jets win the Super Bowl.
No.
You're cheering hard for the Jets every time they win and get a little closer to the playoffs. That ticket goes up exponentially.
Oh yeah,
Man,
that's crazy.
You picked all the favorites.
All
I just don't know what. I don't know what.
Well,
you're
you took
thinking there.
a risk. It's only $50.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We'll go to the NBA. Look, we're not going to have, I don't think, a ton more Bronny James headlines the rest of the way. Probably going to see him in the G League, maybe not. But he's going to be a very off the bench, blowouts only type player,
Sure.
at least in his rookie season, and that's fine. They had their moment on opening night, but pretty cool first yesterday for Bronny James as he scored his first points in the NBA, but he did it against the Cavaliers in Cleveland. Born and raised, father obviously born and raised there, started his career, won a championship there. I thought of all the places that LeBron James' son is going to be on the court with him in an NBA game and score his first bucket. To happen in Cleveland, pretty cool moment.
So, I watched some of that, saw the highlights of it, and cool moment. Again,
it was potentially
I don't even think Bronny James scoring his first bucket makes a ton of headlines. Certainly doesn't make it onto this show unless it happens like it did in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, it was garbage time because Lakers
They got blown out.
Gave up 42 in the first quarter. They were down, and Cleveland's actually good. They're 5-0. But it was potentially the last time LeBron ever plays in Cleveland. I mean, you only go once when you're in the Western Conference, and there's no guarantee he'll be back next season. So it was a big night, for that family to be back there in Cleveland taking on the Cavs. Now, LeBron wasn't on the floor because he was out. It was garbage time. So he didn't get to be there with Bronny when he made his first basket. But still, I'm sure a really nice moment.
Yeah.
All right, and then we will wrap it up. Some music news from yesterday. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are back together and collaborating once again. They had an announcement yesterday that they are going to have a new album, and it's kind of like a sequel to, God, this was like 30 years ago now,
94.
Probably? 93,
My
94?
freshman year in college.
Snoop Dogg's very first album, Doggy Style.
What was like the big single track from that album?
Oh, Gin and Juice.
Gin and Juice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was still
good.
Dre on that?
Yeah.
Or was that Dr. Dre's album? I don't know. And so, they're back together. They got a new album coming out on December 13th, and they're calling it, the follow-up to Doggy Style. And the new album is called Missionary.
Did they get religious?
Maybe. They did.
Did he get older?
They had a teaser, a trailer that was released yesterday.
Yeah.
And it had some religious undertones to it.
Okay.
So maybe that was the reason.
You get older, maybe that's a better idea.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your favorite position? Shortstop?
First base.
First base.
First base. How's it going to sound?
That's the thing. Some artists, as they age, they don't sound good, and others still sound like they always do.
Dominic says you call Dre's chronic pain because he had the chronic.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually saw a short clip of Dre and Snoop talking about the album, and Dr. Dre said he thinks it's some of his best music he's ever made.
Of course he does.
Very excited about it. He was asked, is it going to have, they called it the G-Funk sound from the 90s. He said, maybe a little bit, but we've evolved. Everybody's evolved over the last 30 years, but still.
I'm excited to hear Missionary. I'll give it a listen because I love Doggy Style.
They always think it's some of the best music I've ever made.
It's what every band, the Rolling Stones think their last record is their best record. It's not. It's Sticky Fingers, and you know that, and you're never going to recreate it. Just go out and play Sticky Fingers and
weird,
call it a day.
You think that with more experience and years under your belt, you'd only get better at something.
It's not the truth.
The more hours you put into something, the more proficient you get at that task.
It'd be weird if he came on and didn't say this is some of the best music I've ever made.
This album actually is.
And it ain't that great.
It's not that great.
I've had a lot of
I've done a lot better. Yeah, done a lot. Chronic was way better than this.
You're couple of okay tracks here. Really, we're just hoping to make some extra cash here near the end of our career.
You're always trying to one-up yourself, certainly, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're better than we were
I was
our
gonna
first
say,
year.
Are we making better music now
We
than
are.
we did?
Sure think so.
But there
at
will
the
be
beginning.
there will be a peak, and then there will be a fall. Recognizing the fall is what's most important.
Key.
And knowing when to walk away.
See, you want to recognize it right before
the peak.
the slide goes down.
Yeah, the peak is great.
I mean, most don't even recognize it until they're far at the bottom.
Until they're in the basement. Literally.
Already down there for a while.
Yeah.
And then they finally recognize it.
Like, maybe I should hang them up. Maybe. I'm doing a stream for 4 people. Maybe I should hang it up. Maybe nobody cares what I have to say anymore. All right. I don't want to get to that point. I won't get to that point. Trust me. It won't happen. You're going to be very disappointed. You're going to be very surprised. But I will not get to that point. So start squirreling your pennies away, buddy.
But maybe you're still on the upswing.
I believe I am.
Maybe you're on the rise.
I believe
I
will
be for several more years.
I believe that is the case. Don't worry about it yet.
All right.
Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
I'm going to need Ben to rap something from Missionary
when it comes out.
It comes out.
Maybe at the holiday extravaganza.
Yeah.
It'll come out the week before the extravaganza.
The new Cure album is coming out, which is perfect for my seasonal end of baseball depression. So I can't wait to delve into that this weekend and listen to that.
Wallow in it.
To wallow in it. Yeah. That's
Not
what
to
I do.
cure you of
No.
it.
I heard it's an incredible new record, and we'll be listening to it all weekend and happy.
But we do have a football threesome coming
We
up
do.
next as we continue the double entendres on Ben and Woods. Get to a look ahead at the NFL weekend when we return after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
here we go.
Yep, baseball season is over.
Yeah, buddy.
And, it lasts longer and longer, seemingly, every year. We are already at October 31st. Football season is halfway home.
Yeah, man.
They are at the midpoint of the NFL season. After this week, most teams will either have 8 or 9 games under their belt. So we are fully in NFL season. And taking a look ahead here at Week 9, it's time for our football threesome.
Can Ben and Woods interest you in a threesome?
A threesome would be fun.
Oh, not that kind of threesome.
Dang it.
We're talking end-arounds, the best tight ends in the world.
He must work out.
And going all the way in this game of inches.
Nice.
It's the NFL Threesome with Ben and Woods. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Fun above all else on 97.3 The Fan.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
All right, we'll start with a look ahead to the game we have for you tonight here on 97.3 The Fan. Thursday night football, the Houston Texans, 6-2, visiting the New York Jets, who will be trying to avoid a 6th straight loss tonight at the MetLife Stadium in New York. And as Paulie pointed out, a little bit of a head-scratcher on the line, which has the Jets as 2-point favorites. Now, couple reasons for that. First of all, some injuries we were just going through. Stephon Diggs out for the Texans. Their other Nico Collins, other top receivers also out. So they're a little bit beat up. But ultimately, I think, Thursday night, the home team always has the advantage on the short week. Quick travel turnaround, very hard for the road teams to do that quick turnaround on travel. And that's probably giving the Jets an extra couple of points. Obviously, if the game was in Houston, they would be favorites. Since it's just a 2-point spread, that means they'd probably be 4-point favorites at home. See who you like in this one, Woodsy.
I think the Jets they're obviously in desperation mode. Like you need a win more than anything. You cannot go to 2-7 and you're done. This is like your only shot. I was kind of reading about this game a little bit too, and everyone's saying take the Jets in the to cover the 2 points. I saw it at 1.5 too. They said take the Jets, and I think kind of backs against the wall. They do have a really good running back in Breece Hall. They can run the football. They are 7-2-1 against the spread in their last 10 games against Houston as well. So if you're a betting person, go out and do that.
I mean, the Jets just always seem like they have the better talent than their opponents.
Yep.
At some point, you think that's gonna win out? I mean, the temptation is obviously take the Texans in this one and take the points.
But
they got the better team. Inverse record, but that always makes me a little wary. Like, why do they want me to bet on the Texans so badly?
84% of bets are on Houston right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but according to this, it's the smart play to take the Jets.
We'll get to the picks in a second. That won't be my pick. Matchups to watch this weekend. I think the biggest and best matchup to watch Sunday is the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
Detroit finds their way into our best games of the week a lot because, they're a really good team and they're a really fun team to watch.
Certainly, I'm going to go a long way in determining the NFC North champion, or at least who's got the inside track at it. But I think also, considering the struggles we've seen from the 49ers, that this is a potential NFC championship preview game. One team would have to go through the wild card route to get there, but I think both of these teams have enough that they could be there in January. And, for the Packers, having home field advantage is always really important to get Lambeau Field games in December if they can. Detroit, good crowds, obviously indoors, so not quite the same advantage in January. But this is a big one. Now, the big question on this one is, will Jordan Love play? He's got a groin injury. He was limited in practice yesterday, which meant I think he was just riding the exercise bike. But he did say, it's not out of the question. I could not practice all week and still play.
Sure.
He said it's realistic that I could be out there on Sunday even if I don't practice at all this week. So that'll be one to keep an eye on.
I'm looking through the matchups going, oh, boy, I don't know. There's a lot of kind of have to muddle through this week.
A lot of lopsided games,
Yeah.
it looks like.
There's a lot of high point spreads, that's for sure, which could lead to some better bets for you.
And finally, pick of the week. Woods, you want to go first on this one? Is Adam in the studio? It's a very heavy sigh.
Hey. I got one if you're still looking for one.
Shoot.
I will take the Cleveland Browns. They are 1.5-point underdogs. They're hosting the Chargers. Chargers are favored by 1.5 points. And I like what I've seen from Cleveland really all year. They haven't gotten all the wins that they've been right there. I love Jameis Winston. I like what he's brought to the offense.
Now that Deshaun Watson's been taken off the table, you think the Browns could actually go on a bit of a run?
I think they can beat the Chargers.
Chargers looked good last week. Now, the Chargers have not beaten anyone of consequence.
Didn't look good. It was like 3-2 at halftime against the Saints.
It's true. They
did
pull
not
away.
look good.
They did win.
They were
fairly
playing a
easily.
terrible team on their third-string quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they they did not play good.
I'm going to go, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Last week, I took the Houston Texans as 5-point favorites against the Indianapolis Colts and lost when the Colts scored a late touchdown in the fourth quarter to backdoor cover. This week, I am going to take, again, this time the Minnesota Vikings as 5-point favorites at home against the Indianapolis Colts and hope to dodge the backdoor cover by the Colts again. This should be a game. I think Minnesota bounces back after the loss. They've kind of hit a little rut, but they're back home. Feel like they're going to right the ship this week against Indy, so I'll try it again with the Vikings.
Betting against Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco. I'm going to take the. I'm actually going to take the Lions on the road, Benny. It's like I think 3 is the line I saw. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. I'm a believer.
Okay. And if Jordan Love doesn't play, it's a good time to get in on that.
Yeah, -3
on that wager, because if they announce for sure that he's going to be out, probably that number goes more in favor of the Lions.
100%
in that game. All right, that's our football threesome. When we come back, final segment, wrapping up.
We're almost done.
Wrapping up the World Series, and I think we have to reveal what Woods' plan was for today when this was going to happen. And we ended up not following through.
Cowards.
I think for obvious reasons. But you need to know what Woods wanted to do on this day. And that has nothing to do with Halloween. It's coming up next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Based on how this show has gone, I have no idea how we would have pulled off Woodsy's idea. And by the way, I have learned to generally trust your instincts when it comes to entertainment and, content on our program.
Yeah.
This one I was subtly pushing back on from the very beginning.
I never saw you push back, but I knew you were panicked. I knew you were panicked.
I think if we tried to do it It would have been the biggest struggle for Ben.
Oh, no question.
No doubt. What were we trying to do? I will reveal that momentarily. First, this segment of Ben and Woods brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football, and B-Dubs is kicking off football season with 2 limited-time sauces. Try their new Buffalo Bacon Sauce for bold notes of smoky bacon, or get the fan-favorite hot barbecue before it's gone. Try them at your local B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings Go. So what was Woods' billion-dollar idea this morning? We'll let you know after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, the only thing that bugs me more than a ladder in lanes is 2 ladders in lanes. North on 5, right before the 8. Yeah, watch out. They are in middle lanes. Also north on the 5, right before Claremont Drive, there is a collision involving several vehicles. That is in middle lanes. And we still just crashed on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island just past the 5. Car and motorcycle involved in that. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I feel like after the Dodgers won the first 2 games is when you kind of started the wheels spinning a little bit in your mind. After they won the 3rd game, you solidified your decision. Tell everybody what you wanted to do this morning.
Well, it's a multifaceted. It was going to be a multifaceted plan, and I like to challenge our show to do things a little differently. As you know, these last almost 7 years together, mostly because I get bored doing the same show over and over, and I thought this will be one of the biggest challenges of our career. And it also had to do with the fact that I'm a bit of a troll. And like to have fun with our Dodger fans that listen. And there are many of whom I love and am friends with. Many of whom I hate. And are
not friends with.
And are not friends with. But my idea was essentially if the Dodgers won, we were just going to come in and do a show and not mention the final. Like, we've talked so much about all of the other games. And when they finally won it, for that day only, just come in and pretend it never happened.
Like, literally not
just
mention
not
the
4
win.
hours.
Still talk baseball,
Hey,
talk Padres.
Good morning, everybody. It's Halloween. We're having a great time.
NFL maybe.
Yep. And then every segment you were going to
tease. All right, coming up next, let's rip the Band-Aid off. And the good part of it, the funny thing about radio is those teases are meant to hold the listener here. It's what you try to do. It doesn't always work. You go and listen to other shows or whatever. That's fine. But the tease the whole morning was going to be, okay, all right, enough's enough. Coming up next,
we haven't talked about it yet. We got to get
Let's get into it.
But you were never going to specifically say we're going to talk about the World Series and the Dodgers win.
And the other part of it was to watch Ben squirm for 4 hours. He was going to lose his mind.
It started during Game 4. And you had the fan incident down the corner, and you had everything that went on in this game. And I texted their group thread, and I go, boy, I really hope the Yankees win because I want to talk about this game tomorrow.
And I said, I do too.
Yeah. And so that was just kind of my are you sure that we can just not talk about a game like this?
Yeah.
And then last night's game happens with so many different elements to spark discussion of what happened in that game. And I have the same thing. I hope the Yankees win because I'd really like to talk about this game tomorrow.
The psychological warfare that it would have put on the hundreds of Dodgers fans that are in the chat.
Crazy.
That we're going to be,
I think
you
everybody.
just won the World Series. Like, I promise you, when the Padres win a World Series, I will be hungover at 6 a.m. Not in some other radio shows.
I won't be in Petros and Money's chat.
Yeah, the Astros fan base's chat or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not what I would be doing.
Yeah,
but
it would have to be an American League team. You're right.
You knew they would be here, and for them, they would go insane.
They would go insane.
And they would wait for 4 hours.
That was part of the reasoning behind it. It's just hard. Kevin says, how could you not do it? Because it's...
You cowards.
It's massively hard. The other part of it, Paulie calls us cowards, but no one talks more S than me. I needed to be a man and come in and face the music.
Could have done it tomorrow.
Yeah, we could have. But
I thought of a compromise, like maybe the first 2 hours we
Ben
play
was
that
just
game,
panicked. Ben was panicked.
And then we jump into it at 8 o'clock.
You guys both texted about it on our group thread yesterday, and I was a little disappointed.
That's all right.
Ultimately, though, I do think that all of the tier ones, whether they're Padres fans or Dodgers fans.
We have Dodger fan tier ones, tons of them.
We're going to be excited to come to the program this morning to just hear what we thought about that game. And, the twists and turns of the comeback, of the Yankees' mistakes in the fifth inning that you couldn't believe what was going on as you're watching that inning unfold. Like, there's no way a team that can play well enough all season long to get to the World Series.
Yeah, you cannot have that in
and have a 5-0 lead in Game 5. Has that in them to look like a junior college baseball team. And that's an insult to junior college baseball teams who probably wouldn't put together an inning that bad. I mean, it really was just a pathetic display of baseball for one inning that cost them a game, that cost them the season. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, look. People are like, oh, you should have done it. You should have done it. Look, number one, it would have been insanely difficult to do. And you stay up watching that game last night.
If it had been kind of a boring 6-1 Dodgers win.
By the way, Benny, I'll tell you right now, if it was a 7-1, we would have done it. It was the fact that game was so juicy, and that's how they gave it away. And it was like, man, 7-1, Dodgers come out and score 5 in the first. It's like, all right, boys, strap in. Strap in. Much easier than with the game last night, kicking the ball around, just absolutely ridiculous. That would have been so much of an easier thing. The perfect scenario that I had in my head was this. Yankees win that game last night, which it looked like they were going to do. Then they got to travel. So we're in the weekend at that point. And
Game 6 would have been tomorrow, Friday.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And if they went to Game 7, it would have been Saturday.
So had the Dodgers won on Saturday, we have a full 24 hours. We come in on Monday with a full slate of college football, NFL. Would have been no problem. So the Yankees really needed to win that game last night for the bit to work. But it didn't. It didn't happen, and we move on. But, yeah, I mean, look. Face the music. It's fine.
Seems like the consensus in the chat is it would have been fairly epic.
It would have been really
hard.
It would have been really hard. It would have been.
What
really,
would we
really
have
hard.
talked about all day today, though?
I have no earthly idea, man. No earthly
Look
idea.
at my notes and see what we've got.
C313 says, "Why are you guys bothered about having other fan bases listening? It's good for ratings." I'm not bothered.
No, not at all.
I literally was doing a bit for them, like at them. So I the more the merrier.
So Woods, did you see the big game from Karl Anthony Towns last night?
Cats.
44 points
with his new team.
Breakout with the Knicks. Yeah, they beat the Heat 117-107. The Knicks, after a slow start, looking like they're getting into gear. Celtics finally
We don't have
lost.
to do this. We still have 11, 12
No,
minutes.
this is what we would have done.
Right.
Had we not been able to talk about World Series Game 5,
it would have been a good bit.
4 hours.
It would have been a good bit. And listen, hey, it's not like they're not going to be winning World Series in the next 5 years. So I think it could still happen.
Congratulations to Naomi Girma of the Wave, who scored her first 2 international goals in the U.S.'s 3-0 win over Argentina.
It's excellent.
Yesterday, Woods. What do you think about that?
I loved it. Congratulations, Naomi. My favorite of the Girmas.
She is great Girma.
Great Girma.
Top Girma.
What's the plan tonight, gentlemen? You're going to work.
I'm going to work. I am going to get some more candy, though, on my way home for my son to distribute.
Okay. So my wife walked in yesterday, and she had a bag that looked it was bigger than this bag that I'm holding up.
That's not a huge bag.
No, it's not. This is 70 minis. Mm-hmm. And she held up this bag, and she said, take a guess on how much this was.
Oh, gosh.
And I said, all right, I'm looking at it, and I went, $9. She goes, way more. And I go, $12. No.
$20.
$37.
27
or 30? 27, maybe 27
for a bag of
candy,
processed candy bars.
I almost died. Maybe it was 37. If she's listening right now, text us, babe. But she bought it. I go, you're joking. But we are going to do she is going to do the bit tomorrow to the kids, the Kimmel bit.
You guys have to.
She's going to get them. Paulie recommend. It's so mean, but we're mean. So I mean, we bust balls all the time in my house.
Explain it to people who don't know the Kimmel bit.
So my kids, yeah, like every kid, they love candy. So they're going to go trick-or-treating tonight. We've actually decided we're going to let them stay up a little bit later, go out and trick-or-treat for longer than we did last year. I have been given the clearance to go home when I'm ready, which is great. So I'll be out till probably 7:30. And then in the morning, Hannah's going to open several pieces, leave it around. And when they ask where their candy is, she's going to say, your dad and I last night ate all of your candy, and film their reactions, because torturing your kids is like one of the best parts of parenthood.
Kimmel does it every year
It's
on a
so
show.
funny.
He puts together, fans, listeners, or whatever, viewers, they submit their home videos of, phone in the corner, secretly recording, and the kids are just like, where's our candy? Mommy and Daddy got really hungry last night. We ate all of your candy.
We ate all
We're
of it.
very
I'm
sorry.
so sorry.
And
Get
the
some
kids
next year.
Flip out. They melt down. And
Taylor
Kimmel puts them all together and plays them every year.
Taylor's going to lose his mind. He gets one thing, you can't get it from him. Like Bo, he is the worst sharer of all time. There's never been somebody that shares less than Taylor does. And so he's going to lose his mind. Now, I think it's hysterical. Satan's Blowfish says you people are sick. Fine, I'll wear that. Just a momentary. But I Paulie said you got to do it this year, and I said they're the perfect age. Taylor might call the cops. He does like to go to Alexa and call the police. He's tried to do it before, so I can't wait for it.
Will this be something he's discussing in therapy in 15 years?
Potentially, but I mean I doubt it. Your parents play pranks on you.
Last night, we ate every bit of your Halloween candy.
It's great.
It's all
Instant
gone.
tears.
Yeah, he's so mad. Now I'm actually starting to feel a little sad for him. I hadn't heard that before.
I'm sorry.
How could you hog it?
How could you hog it? Holy crap, dude. I'm really excited for it now. I mean, I think it's if you're a parent, you've done how many times you've been like, look, if you don't clean it up, Santa is not coming this year, right? Like we've all done that bit of like, you're not going to get to go to Disneyland.
So you'll get Taylor. I wonder, Bo, though, if he's going to go. I don't believe you.
He's so cool.
Yeah, right.
Like
yeah.
he's so cool.
Give me candy.
Sure you did, Mom. Now here's the thing. I won't
Bleep off.
I won't be. He's like, F you.
Dad, did you really need that much candy?
Yeah, easy, Chubbs. Where's my candy? The problem is I won't be there because I'll be here. So Hannah's going to have to do it solo. She's going to have to do a solo mission.
What time is wake up?
Taylor's up at about 4:30, and Bo's up at about 5:30.
So we'll have it early in the show.
Oh, yeah, we should have it in the open.
Sent to me as soon as it happens. We need this for tomorrow morning for sure.
Yeah. Jocelyn says November 1st, Santa's watching. Yeah, we're about to start the whole thing in our house, which is, look, at the end of the day, you're lying to your kids, and it happens.
That's what the elf on the shelf is, right?
Yeah,
the
elf
monitor.
on the shelf. That's
that
exactly
monitors
right.
the kids.
Yeah. Hands signal says lame. All right. I mean, what are you going to do, buddy?
Can't please everybody.
Can't please them all, pal. I can't wait.
Film your Dodger fan and say, last night we ate your entire World Series championship. It's
last
gone.
night actually didn't count. I put Bo to bed last night. I go, hey, buddy, good night. I love you. Proud of you. I hope you don't wake up tomorrow to a Dodgers championship. And he just looked at me and he goes, oh, I hope not. So he gets it. And he goes, everyone at my school now, Dad, is wearing Dodger hats. And I go, oh, is that a fact? And I said, it's funny because one of my Dodger buddies DM'd me the other day. He said, if LA loves something, it's a front runner. So it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Great idea from Tyler in the chat. He says, have Hannah tell them that you took all the candy to work to share with Ben.
Dad took it.
And reignite the Ben and Taylor feud.
I'm the monster. Then
Or just
I'm the monster,
make
and
Ben
Ben's the monster.
Ben wanted your candy.
Ben wanted your
so we
candy.
took it.
Daddy took it to him. The blood feud continues. It's really good.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Well, ultimately, yes, as a Padres fan, we're disappointed, but
It's over now.
There's a part of me that goes, you know what the Dodgers record is now? 0-0.
Yeah, it's over. You got to do it again, right?
And it's tough. I mean, it's probably the toughest thing in sports to reset after the championship, knowing All right, we got to motivate ourselves and try to do that all over again.
I think they'll be fine.
Without the disappointment driving you from the season before. I think it's one of the reasons why.
Doesn't every team welcome that challenge?
Yeah,
of course.
It's a really good challenge. How are we going to do it again?
I will welcome the day when the Padres get to attempt that challenge.
Yeah.
But it's a hard one, and you're now having to start again and figure out, all right, how do we get back to where we just were?
I mean, literally the only bright side for me is that Skip Schumacher will not be managing the Los Angeles Dodgers next year.
You're pretty sure of that now.
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, I saw another tweet. Oh, Dave Roberts cementing his status as one of the greatest managers of all time. Wasn't he going to be fired about a month ago? Or at least we're pretty sure that if they flopped out, lost to the Padres, they had lost one of 2 games to the Padres. Instead of one of the greatest managers of all time, he's out on his butt.
Yeah.
That's baseball for you.
Yeah, I mean, Skip would be great at that job, which is why I would hate that he was there. So, look, this year worked out for Dave. Massively
now,
worked out
he didn't go from bum who was about to get fired to greatest manager of all time in 2 weeks. No one can.
No.
Either was or he wasn't before.
Yep.
It's the same guy. He kind of managed the same way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just worked out this time.
Worked out better. Yeah, worked out better. We move on. Tomorrow is Ben's birthday celebration. Make sure you are here.
Baby.
By the
little pre-birthday celebration.
Well, it's the day we're celebrating.
Last show before my birthday on Sunday.
That's right. We're not going to forget this year. Believe you me.
I had almost forgotten, actually.
Yeah, tomorrow's a big day.
All right, we will say goodbye. Annie and Elston will take our place. They will always have some good thoughts on what just happened. Hope everybody has a very safe and happy Halloween out there. For Bald Reindl, for Stephen Woods,
R.I.P. Bozo.
R.I.P. Bozo. I'm Hig Tua. Have a great rest of your Thursday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.